I was thinking about this morning that if I could make the sound of an asteroid slowly crossing the screen, I would do it.
Oh, here, ready? I can make the sound of an asteroid.
Do it.
There's no sound in space.
Boom!
Bum,
There
bum,
we are.
bum, bum,
Bow, da da da.
Do 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 do.
Boo 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 boo. Hello!
Bum, bum, bum.
Welcome to Doug Space 9. Yay! We got Amanda.
Hi,
and we've
Amanda.
got Sluzinski who've been hanging out in the chat. Welcome everybody. Look at our hot new background. If this were like a real situation, we would be in front of like the biggest L-Cars screen ever. Like if you look at the relationship, the size relationship from us to it's like way too large. Hey Patrick, what's up, man?
We could be giants.
Yeah, maybe we're giants. Maybe we... Well, actually, no. We'd be midgets. We'd be very tiny.
Oh, I see. Oh, right,
giant
because we're the size of the screen.
We're like pocket-sized officers of Starfleet. It's actually, like, kind of hard to find good GIFs to put in the background for this.
I'm on the wrong side. I gotta know where my...
Oh, yeah.
Beep, beep,
Let's
beep,
see.
beep, beep. Boop, searching background GIFs.
Boop, boop, boop.
If I could figure out how to make them, I could make one.
I was thinking about that. It would be cool to make them.
There's got to be some program where you just point in at Netflix and you're like, make a GIF out of Netflix. Please.
Yeah, totally. That would be awesome. I don't know. Every time I watch an episode now, I'm like, that would be a good background screen. That might be a good GIF.
Hi, Patrick. Hi, Amanda. I'm behind. I was late also, by the way. Sorry for anyone who waited.
Dude, I like your shirt.
Oh, yeah. Thank you.
That's very cool. I'm glad. I almost wore a Star Wars shirt because we discovered last week that, or 2 weeks ago, that Star Wars and Star Trek take place in the same universe.
But I do have one
Nice.
Star Trek sock.
I'm actually wearing Star Wars underwear, but I'm not going to show them.
That's for the later stream.
I could, but I won't. That seems wrong.
Someone donate $25 right now to see Jesse's Star Trek underwear.
You know what? If someone donates $25, I will not show my underwear.
That's a dark road.
Yeah, that's the thing you don't want to start because it goes wrong.
Fine. I will take my shirt off though. For free.
Well, that was a close call. We got some skin. Oh man, so we have two episodes to talk about today, Babel and Captive Pursuit. And I really enjoyed both of them, and I'm so excited, because like last time, both episodes were, as I came to think of it, aggressively mediocre.
Yeah, early Star Trek, early season Star Trek.
Yeah, and this week, I mean, there's some like weird shit in both episodes that I definitely want to make fun of, but overall, I really enjoyed both of them, and I'm very excited to talk about it.
I liked one a lot more than the other.
Which one did you like more?
I liked Captive Hunting Tosk a lot more than the Babel one. I was like,
yeah.
It was one where it's like we're just rushing through motivations of like this is why we have to do a thing, and you're like, that doesn't make any sense. It doesn't matter. We still have to do this thing.
Yeah, I know
That's
what you're
like
talking about.
The laziest of sci-fi things.
I hear you. I remembered Captive Pursuit really well. I remembered like loving that episode.
Yeah.
Like 10 years ago when I watched it last.
I feel like it's the first really solid Deep Space Nine, apart from the pilot, that is really like, oh, this is what Deep Space Nine is going to be.
Yeah, it feels like classic Star Trek with a twist. It's like classic Star Trek that's a little bit darker, and your characters are making more questionable decisions, and like you're in a position where you can't really just say, oh, it's the Prime Directive, I can't do this, because you're like stuck inside of a situation where you're like not on a Starfleet vessel, and you like have to, like Miles O'Brien in this situation has to make decisions that, you know, he probably wouldn't be able to make on the Enterprise.
Right.
Like, he would not really have the option to kind of break out. I mean, Picard would stop him. Like, Sisko decides not to. Well, you know, we'll get there. We'll get there.
Okay. You want how do we want to start?
Well, let's do Babel. Let's do this. Amanda says Babel is amazing.
Yeah.
I really liked Babel. There's like a lot that I really love about it, and some that I was a little disappointed in. Mostly I just really like it. I feel like Babel sets up such a great premise, which is your characters speaking nonsense and being upset that no one else understands them. Because like it's one of my favorite things where like people will say something completely ridiculous in utter sincerity. I just love it. I love that. And Miles O'Brien does such a good job of selling it. He's so good at it. It's so amazing. Like the first few scenes with Miles when he is like becoming a Phasic and he's you know, speaking nonsense, he just delivers it so perfectly. And you can almost hear the other lines of dialogue that he's supposed to be saying when he's not actually saying them. Like, you can almost hear what the dialogue is. And I looked it up, and like they did write out dialogue and then in parentheses what they were supposed to be saying so they could emote properly.
Nice.
Yeah, so I mean, yeah, I really liked that. But the problem with this episode for me is that stuff is so much fun, but then as soon as someone becomes sick with this aphasia virus, they just put them into a box and close the box.
Time out.
They're gone.
You're in Star Trek timeout.
Yeah, they're in the like Q's penalty box for the rest of the episode, and they never really come back.
You have to be careful, because if someone else goes in the penalty box,
then you're dead. But yeah, like, I mean, it's so much fun to watch the characters speak nonsense, but then as soon as they start, they're gone. And like, it's so frustrating. I just want them to be around speaking nonsense for the rest of the episode because it's so funny.
Yeah.
So that's my big disappointment with the episode. But even with that being the case, you still get some really fun stuff happening later in the episode where Quark and Odo basically have to run the station.
Yes, that's good.
Which is fantastic.
It's a good dynamic for them.
And then Kira goes off to try to find the Bajoran doctor who can fix the aphasia virus, and it makes very little sense what's happening. Like, Julian Bashir and his, you know, genetically engineered brain cannot figure out what to do, and it makes no sense.
And then, the other doctor flies in, he's like, you just need to dot this I. Boom, we're done.
Yeah, which for me is very problematic storytelling. It's just like total Deus Ex Machina storytelling. That's true. He was infected. He was infected.
Yeah, he's motivated, but I mean, Bashir was watching all of his friends suffer from it, and himself. Bashir was infected.
It makes a little bit of sense.
They try to wave it away.
They do. Yeah, it's a lot of hand waving.
Yeah, it's a classic Star Trek hand waving. They even use a throwaway line of dialogue of with the assistance of Bashir's notes.
Right. Totally.
Oh, that's all it took. They do a similar thing early in the episode when Lieutenant Belly Monster's lab is like screaming, wee!
Right.
And then O'Brien comes in to fix it, and he's like, did you try this? She's like, yeah, I tried that. And he's like, oh, well, what about this? Oh, that was the other thing I tried. Oh, did you try and open this door and turn this knob? Oh, no.
No, I didn't turn that knob.
I knew all of the other things.
Open this door and turn that knob. Yeah,
Now it's done.
There's so much techno-babble hand-waving in this episode. Amanda says they clearly hadn't planned out the super smart version with me yet. Yeah. It's very true.
It's all backfilling.
It's super obvious that they had no idea that they were going to do that with his character. I think that's season 4 when that reveal comes out. So spoiler alert.
Oh, and
already spoiled.
But so much of this, like Deep Space Nine, all the episodic shows suffer from that thing of like, oh, now I've got a better idea. When you start to really look at all the stuff with Sisko and the Prophet, you're like, oh, they were just making it up.
Totally.
As they go. That's why shows like Lost piss me off, because they are clearly not serialized.
Right.
I mean, clearly not episodic, and they still fuck it up because they don't know their end game.
And it's interesting because Babylon 5 is a good example of something that has the reverse problem, where it has planned it out, but then like something happens with the actors and they have to fix it. They have to like adjust the plan midstream. So I mean, there's no perfect way to do this. There's no like shows can never be real, you know, and you always have to fake it somehow.
The perfection of it right now exists in shows that are based on existing
source
books.
material.
Yeah,
that's so true.
Somebody who writes a book, guess what? People that write books follow narrative story arcs, and the ones that do it well are really popular.
Right.
So Game of Thrones is interesting because it's sort of like, okay, let's just hope he ends it well. you know, that's the show's getting ahead of him.
Yeah, that's such a bizarre example of that, where by the time the show's done, it will not be how the books are going to finish because they just walked away from it.
I don't know. It's it's a weird.
It is a weird one.
It's its own thing.
I've read that George R.R. Martin gave them some rough notes about where he's going to go.
Right.
But he's probably going to change that a little bit because, as you write something, it kind of unfolds differently than your plan, and oftentimes
clearly follows every thread. It seems like I want to know what he's throwing away.
I know,
when he's going to write these 1,200-page books.
Totally. But yeah, I've been catching up on The Expanse recently, and that's another one. Yeah, where the source material is really. Is like all fleshed out already.
Right.
And then the writers of the source material are in the writer's room and helping to flesh out where the show's gonna go. So it's like this perfect iteration of a story that has been workshopped. and like the kinks have been pulled out of it by the time it gets to screen. That show is so good. It is so good. I'm almost done with season 2, and I'm just like blown away by it.
I love The Expanse. I sadly don't know more about it, but it's one of those things that I'm like, yes, but it's going to be there waiting for me to really, you know, sink my teeth into. I saw someone that said derisively, like, oh, but the trouble with The Expanse books is that they're written with this intent. I guess the writers had said that they had wanted it to be turned into something or option. But like,
interesting.
Yeah, but it fucking works. So.
It does work, yeah. I read the first book after I watched the first season, unknowing that the first book is actually the first 2 seasons. There's stuff from the second book in season 2 also, but I really like the show better. Like, I felt like the books were kind of mediocre, and the show is like exceptional.
Yeah,
and it just seems like. I don't know. They're actually written a lot like Game of Thrones. Like, the writers were writing assistants to George R.R. Martin.
Oh, interesting.
It's 2 guys who write under one pen name.
Yeah.
But, yeah, they were writing assistants to George R.R. Martin, and it's actually formatted very similar to Game of Thrones, where it says, like, this chapter is this character's perspective.
Right. Let's start all these threads and let's weave them. And it's not a bad model, you know.
Yeah, totally. But the weird thing is that book 1 only has, like, 2 or 3 characters that it follows the threads on. Hey, Team Aeon! Oh, thank you so much. Good to see you. Team Aeon's screen name, well, Team Aeon is like technically like Syl and Odogu, but Odogu is her screen name, as in like Odogu.
Odogu.
Yeah, it's very good. Amanda says, the tech support 101, have you tried turning it on and back off again? Totally. O'Brien, yeah. Oh, yeah, that's... Oh, and Nova, thank you, yes. So, this episode starts out with this amazing sequence of O'Brien fixing everything and getting surly, and it's so good. And I just, like... okay, this drove me absolutely bonkers. It starts out with, like, one of the first scenes is a whole bunch of people stuck in an airlock. Yeah. In a universe in which transporting technology exists.
We'll get you.
Why? Why?
Yeah.
Why?
If you were stuck in an airlock on a station you've never been to, and they're like, we can't get this door open, but like, hang on, I do have a technology that lets me disassemble you and reassemble you out here. Should we try that? No! If you can't make a fucking door work, I don't want to try your sparkly beam.
Team Aeon says the transporters aren't working. Was that explicitly stated?
No, I'm saying if you're in the airlock, why would you agree to be transported if they can't make their doors work?
Because being stuck in an airlock is the most terrifying place to ever be stuck.
I don't know.
Because, like, O'Brien is trying to fix this thing on a whole station that's broken. I would not trust that dude with my life, you know? Because, like, if he's trying to open this airlock and he, like, short circuits the wrong thing, it opens the backside and everyone's dead.
Right. My point is, my thought would be, as a visiting alien, this asshole's probably in charge of the transporter stuff, too. And if you look at his record, you're like, hey, actually, he is. He used to run transporter.
He ran the transporter room on the Stars of
Stay away from those transporter buttons, human.
Transporter room 3, man. It was his favorite. Yeah.
I miss transporter room 3.
I just could not figure out for the life of me why they were stuck in there. And it was really making me laugh. Like, why? It was like, why is it unsettling to me that people are stuck in an airlock? It doesn't make sense to me. And then I remembered that transporters exist.
Yeah.
And then I wondered if the writers forgot that transporters exist.
So often it seems like, oh, they did forget, or they just didn't, like, it's fine, no one will notice.
Yeah.
No noticing.
Yeah, that's true. A lot of stuff was not working. That's true, T-Man. That's so true. Like, a lot of stuff was broken on the ship. The writers get selective memory.
It's what I love about Star Trek is that it's the fans who, more clearly than anyone who owns the content, obsess over the canon and the things like we're doing, but that's what I love to do, you know?
Right.
It's like a game. You set up, like,
totally.
This is the reality, so how can you make this work within this reality?
Yeah, totally. Yeah, I mean, filling in headcanon is very fun. And I will say, to Deep Space Nine's credit, that it's relatively easy, usually, to fill in headcanon.
Yeah.
Like, you could very easily say the transporters are down.
Yes.
But they have, like, shuttlecraft that aren't broken, that have transporters on them. So beam those fuckers off, dude. Beam them out.
And this episode is just chock full of, like, no, wait, that wouldn't work that way, or why did they do that? But it's, again, this one you're just racing through the escalation of the problem.
Those aren't working either. Nothing is working. All transporters are broken. That totally drove me a little crazy. And also, it made me remember that I developed a fear of airlocks from this show as a child, like the first time I watched it. Especially because there's an episode coming up where, with the Grand Nagus, where I think Quark gets, like, stuck in an airlock and threatened to have it blown open. And I remember being, you know, what was I, like 14 when this first aired and being terrified of airlocks. I just watched an episode of The Expanse like 2 days ago where people got put in an airlock and blown out into space. I'm like, that is the most terrifying way to die. It's capital punishment. It's what they do in, like, Battlestar Galactica, in the 100, you know, that's just... Yeah, it's like walking the plank in sci-fi. Sci-Fi'sville. Amanda made a good point about why O'Brien. Someone had asked why O'Brien is the one who has to fix everything, and then Amanda's saying, like, that's what in tech departments, that's what they do, is they call the boss. Right. People never trust the, you know, low-level employees, or if something takes too long, they're like, I'm gonna call your supervisor. Right. But then his supervisor is only concerned about his coffee, which is ridiculous. And also, Benjamin Sisko does not know how to drink hot things. Yeah, he just doesn't know how. Yeah. What's up, James? And I didn't watch it much. Oh yeah, totally. The political storylines I did not understand as a kid, and now I love it. Yeah, but I did not get it as a kid. I stopped watching as a kid and came back to it. Yeah. But yeah, he doesn't seem to know how to drink coffee. It's one of Avery Brooks's, I think, moments of like, oh, your style of acting here, it didn't work. He didn't the ow. Yeah, he's like, oh, ow. O'Brien. It's so fun, and I don't. So what do you think he's experiencing? Is it too hot? Is it not coffee? Does it taste like something else? Right. They don't like explain it. He had that in his own mind. Yet in this very same episode, he has the exact opposite, where he has the moment with Jake, when Jake is under the spell of the, you know, magic talking thing. Yeah. And he does this thing where he comes up to him and he just bumps him at first. And it's so sweet and endearing. It's so good. It's such a real perfect moment. Yeah. And we've talked before about what a tactile actor he is. The physical act. So in the Memory Alpha article about that episode, there was a quote from someone who worked on the production who said that Avery Brooks actually like specifically brought that to the character. In this episode in particular, he like decided, I want to have a physical relationship with my on-screen son, and like brought that to the role. Right. And it's so interesting. I mean, I feel like both of those actors, like Surik Lofton as well, is so good at receiving that physical attention, because it makes it look like real parental father-son. Yeah, and then when Surik does, because sometimes he does bristle at it, which is what you would do as a teenager when your dad is trying to touch you and say, like, hey, I love you. No, Dad. Yeah. But in this case, like, when he's sick and he's scared, he, like, really sold that really well. Yeah, it's what's wonderful, is because you get to see the extreme ends of when Avery Brooks stuff, like, pays off big time, and then it's just, like, a hot coffee moment. Yeah, and he has two of them. He has a hot coffee moment in the beginning and at the end. The whole episode with his worst acting. O'Brien! Yeah. But so I want to know what it was in his coffee. I mean, someone said they thought it was Earl Grey, which I think is really funny. Was that Team Aeon that said that? I keep thinking, yeah. I lost it in the chat already. Fajitas? Where are my fajitas? Do you think it was fajitas in his coffee? It was fajita flavored coffee. It was Team Aeon, okay. Yeah. It's a good thing, though, that, like, Sisko then didn't grab O'Brien and be like, you think this tastes like coffee? You think this tastes like coffee? And, like, just, like, shoveled it into his mouth with the spoon. That was, like, abuse. Yes. That scene where... Oh man, so there's so much to talk about with Quark in this episode, because, okay, let's start there, because it's so fucking disturbing to watch Quark have gross soup force-fed into his mouth. Tholian stew. You think this tastes like Tholian stew, and Quark? Also, that alien actor was terrible. Well, that background guy was terrible. I've said it before, is that when you play these sort of like one-off aliens, I think hamming it up, unless you have a three-dimensional or even a two-dimensional character, you know, go for broke. What's the backboard? Go as high as you can. Yeah. And this guy does it, and he still misses, you know. Yeah, he shoots and misses. James says, almost got the whole series from Walmart a few years ago, but didn't have the money at the time. Oh man, I remember buying DVDs of shows. Costco had Smallville for like $14 a season. So I started buying that and totally fell in love with it. But I do not miss those days, because like now I just have everything. Yeah. Now I just have everything. I don't have to own shit. There's no like existential, like, should I pay this much for a TV show? I'm so glad that's gone. But yeah, Smallville. I never finished Smallville. So after Lex left the show after season 7, it just took like such a dive. Yeah, and I just like couldn't handle it. Amanda, can I make you a mod? I'm like doing all this modding, and I'd love to make you a mod. I'm just doing it. You've been what? No. No. Okay. I'll take it away. You don't have to be a mod. No pressure.
It's similar to when Riker was given Q powers. You can choose not to use them.
Totally.
Or you can let yourself be very corrupt.
Oh, finish Smallville is the what? Oh. No. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Gotcha. No, okay. Amanda, you've been like such an awesome stream team person. I've been thinking about modding you for a while.
Despite your opinions about Discovery.
Yeah, I've just been kind of waiting for a moment when... Wait, oh no, she's right about Discovery. I've just been waiting for a moment when there was no mods and I needed a mod, and it's happening. Like, that's when I make new mods, and you're promoted officially. Boom. So I will add you on the Discord mod channel. Congratulations. Odogu says, am I the only one who remembers buying series by episode on VHS?
Oof.
I didn't buy Deep Space Nine on VHS, but I did record it on VHS. I did like set a timer because it was on, I think, Spike TV every day and in the afternoon, and if I couldn't watch it live, I'd set a timer. And I had a giant box full of Deep Space Nine VHS. I think I told this story in the first episode, but I'm telling it again because I love it. So
streaming works.
I was dating this girl who was awesome, and I went to Europe during the time that I was doing this watch through, and she taped every episode while I was gone for me, so I could keep watching it. It was very exciting.
Yeah, we get it. You went to Europe. Quit bragging.
I know. I'm fucking pretentious piece of shit.
I never taped Star Trek. I taped Mystery Science Theater. I would tape that.
Oh, cool.
And then like archival tape it. And then bought VHSs of those. That was the one show that I really VHS time got into.
Nice. Okay, so Quark being force-fed soup.
I forgot that's what we're talking about.
Reminds me of like the other thing that really stuck out to me about this episode is that like what is the morality of selling replicated food?
Yeah.
Like what is the situation happening there? Because it becomes clear that
my like, button pushing finger is white. Yes. If I give you some gold pressed latinum, will you push the button for me?
And then like why people are all upset about how good the soup is, but it's just replicated. So
right.
I don't know, like, what's happening there?
They have replicators in crew quarters.
Right.
They rent out quarters to people, I think, so you can make food. I don't know.
And then there's no money in Starfleet, so... But it's a Bajoran station, so... And there's all these shops on the promenade that sell things.
Right, that you could replicate.
Yeah, so what's happening?
They just... Well, this is one of those, like, I think, along with the Universal Translator... It's which also is a huge question mark hovering over this episode.
Absolutely.
The replicators,
and the next one, too.
And the next one, yeah. Replicators just are a thing that you like, you wave your hand. You don't wonder why this commerce still exists in a world with replicators. Or you try to justify it like, oh, but maybe everyone doesn't have access to them, even though you just see people casually using them everywhere.
Totally.
And they have, like, the Replimart, which sounds like...
the Replimat? Yeah. I like Replimart better.
Oh, is it Replimat?
Yeah.
Replimart.
Replimart is where you go to buy a replicator.
Yeah.
Hey, Super Hamster's here. What's up, dude? Welcome. Yeah, so I am unclear about how it works to have a Federation-run station with money. Because money doesn't exist in the Federation.
Right.
But, I mean, obviously, like, gold-pressed latinum is kind of the currency that's used.
At least Ferengi.
Yeah.
It's a good assumption is that the Ferengi... That's like the American dollar being used in other countries.
Right.
You know,
Slips,
that the Ferengi
strips, bars,
latinum,
and bricks. But then, is latinum a mineral that is natural to Ferenginar? Or is it, like, something that's mined from asteroids that are common throughout the galaxy? Like, what the fuck is it? Where does it come from? And why do... I mean, the Duras sisters were, like, trying to, like, sell... What's his name for like
13 kilograms
of gold pressed latinum? You know, like so the Klingons obviously use it, and there's a lot that doesn't make sense. Is what I'm trying to say, and I'd like it to be explained because I just love that type of shit, and I want it.
Yeah, I'm with you. I at least feel like it was more thought out.
Yeah. But I love the subplot of Quark, like, stealing replicated food. I just think it is so funny. So my headcanon for this is that Quark has a replicator, obviously, in the bar.
Right.
Which seems like bullshit to me, because, like, Guinan... Like, well, I mean, Guinan had replicators, but she also had, like, all of this real stuff from around the galaxy that was so cool. You know, but Quark has that, too, because you can see it behind the bar.
Right, they show his bottles and stuff, yeah.
So I guess he has both. So we know that.
Maybe the replicated food is for suckers.
Yeah, probably.
It's like rubes who come in who don't even know about replicators.
Yeah, absolutely. So they kept saying that, like, on the command level was where the replicators were.
Right.
The command level replicators are the ones that were passing around the aphasia virus because Miles O'Brien did something that triggered this aphasia virus sleeper device. Which, what the fuck is that? Like, there's a device waiting to inject an aphasia virus planted by Bajoran terrorists to terrorize Cardassians? What plan is this? Like, who made this plan? If you think about this plan from the point of view of an oppressed people trying to, like, save themselves,
it's like the
let's make them talk funny.
The one guy who has the skills to build this, and he's like, yeah, and I'm gonna make them all, like, forget words. And then his supervisor, like, why don't we just kill them? No. Let us drive them a little crazy first.
Yeah, it makes absolutely no sense.
Fine, give him the talkie thing, but just no more than 12 hours.
See you, T-Man. Thank you so much for stopping by. Trilithium by the Ferengi also.
No,
oh, really?
Up later.
I don't remember that. Neelix was at least a real cook. Totally. Yeah, well, Sisko's a real cook. And you know, Riker can make eggs that only Worf likes.
Right.
How did that activate? What did O'Brien do?
He clicked OK too many times.
Also, apparently Cardassian replicators, to fix them, you slide underneath them, which seems like ridiculous. Like, you get on, like, one of those little slidey things.
Broad-shouldered people.
Yeah, how did Cardassians even fit in them? I will say that the Jeffries tube-looking things do seem wider than the human ones, though. Which I like.
That's fair.
Star Wars or Star Trek? Shit.
Well, on this podcast, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, we're both wearing Star Wars clothes on a Star Trek podcast. If that gives you any idea. Both. Worf loves ruined food, though. Yeah.
And prune juice.
And prune juice. Yeah.
Which is how he flushes out all that ruined food.
Klingons need a really strong diuretic.
Oh, bye, Anon, Aeon, Team Aeon. They said that to run off to work.
Yeah. Good to see you. Always good to see you.
You might have already said goodbye and I didn't hear it.
I did, but that's fine.
I am not paying attention.
So, I love that whole plot of, like, Quark dealing with the replicators, because it just made me feel like it actually kind of worked for me that he was selling replicated food, because he will sell whatever he can as cheaply as possible. But do you think that in a system where you have replicators but you have money, do you have to, like, pay for the energy to convert energy to matter?
Probably.
Is there like an electrical bill or something that Quark is paying?
To the Bajorans. With the Federation administering it. But yeah, like, then there's docking fees, you know.
Yeah, they are collecting. I guess they are collecting. I really want to know what the financial situation on Deep Space Nine is. That, like, means a lot to me.
There's got to be someone who's, like, an economist and, like, a super Star Trek
Trekonomics. There's a book called Trekonomics.
Oh, okay.
I wonder if that includes this information.
They'd better have an update for TS9.
Yeah, if they don't, I'll be very disappointed. But then it also leads to this other amazing moment which brought up so many more questions for me, where Quark goes to, like, the abandoned crew quarters of someone who's got the aphasia virus to get food out of the replicator, and he rolls in a rolling cart. He brings in a rolling cart
with wheels
with wheels. That is Odo. That is Odo. It, like, turns into Odo like a second later. Every episode they have Odo turning into something totally random and totally different, but I'm literally like, that cart is Odo. You know, I didn't remember that, but I just knew it because I could smell it. I'm like, that cart is Odo.
And I checked. There's enough space to hide a comm badge. In there, so he could still be holding that. Yeah,
there's a comm badge inside of this cart somewhere.
The weirdest part of that cart also had a glass panel.
Like, did it? Yeah. I didn't notice that.
Oh yeah, because on this rewatch, I'm trying to obsessively hone in on the boundaries of Odo's nearly infinite magical power.
Except for noses.
Except for noses, yeah.
And foreheads.
Because the shapeshifting stuff, again, people want to complain about Discovery, but Odo's shapeshifting power on the mushroom scale is, like, pushing 8.
Oh yeah, it's a hard 8.
Yeah, absolutely. And glass panel, that is an 8.1?
Yeah, totally super hamster, exactly. So what happened in the 10 minutes prior to that? Because I think what happened is that Quark thinks to himself, well, I need to move food around. I need a cart.
Right.
Oh, look, here's a cart. I needed a cart, and here's a cart. I'm going to use this cart that just appears out of nowhere. Like, what is he on, Farpoint Station? And what he wants just, like, pops into existence? That made so little sense. Like, was there another cart that Odo switched out?
Yep. So that's what I'm thinking is that...
He like walks in with a phaser and disintegrates Quark's cart.
That's great, because I was just thinking, how did he get rid of the cart? I could see Odo just like, yep.
Yeah, that made very little sense, but delighted me to know it. It delighted me that at some point before that, Odo had switched with a cart.
There's one coming up that's even better.
In the next episode?
I don't know when it comes up, but there's one. It's one of my... It's the first shape-shifting thing Odo did on my first watch through of DS9. Like, I don't... For whatever reason, the cart didn't stand out to me, but there's this one that made me just yell, what the fuck, at the screen. And it's not the weirdest. It's, I think, at least the second or third weirdest.
Spoil it. What is it? I have to know.
Oh, when he turns into a glass and somebody throws it and it shatters.
And it breaks. Yes, yeah. I remember that.
The weirdest, we'll just jump to it now, is when he makes himself later, much later, a cup of Ractigino and then drinks it.
He makes himself a cup that he drinks?
That he's holding and drinking so he could experience consuming liquids. That's fucking insane. Whoever wrote that episode is a lunatic and should be on a watch list.
Was it hot? Can he make himself hot liquid?
We'll have to have a two-parter just to talk about that shape-shifting power. All right.
What about Quark in command? I know, I loved that. Like, towards the end when pretty much everyone becomes aphasic except for Quark and Odo. And watching them have to work together to save the ship is fantastic.
Yes.
And I love the scene where he's like, oh, well, I'll beam you there. He's like, I have to get down to the docking ring before this ship explodes. It's trying to pull away. I have to manually release the docking clamps. Like, well, I'll beam you there. I was like a Ferengi, I was on a Ferengi, what did he say, ship for 8 years or something?
He used to be a scientist. He actually encountered the Enterprise. When they
with a different name in
the Ferengi science team.
In like episode 5 of Next Generation, he like the same actor.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, I want to go back one. Amanda made the point about the cart. Quark says, I thought the wheel was a little sticky or whatever when he turns into Odo. The cart turns into Odo.
Oh, yeah.
She's saying that's where the comm badge was.
In the sticky wheel?
Yeah, that's why it was... That's excellent. That's solid headcanon.
Yeah, so, but, okay, how does he make a wheel turn? Because, like, when
How does he turn into glass? How does he...
Because, like, turning wheels are not physically... like attached. They are like on a bearing or something. Like what is he doing? I don't understand.
Yeah, this is like I'm willing to just wave away the mass issue of like how does he just get rid of or add extra mass? Who cares? Let's get into these things.
Yeah, that I need to know. I need to know.
And he has DNA. That's another one that's still wrapping my head around.
That transporter thing with Quark, I was actually like really happy with how fast Quark was able to work the controls, because Odo's already standing on the transporter platform and Quark's like, well, I'm sure I can figure this out.
Right.
And Odo doesn't quite have time to get off of the transporter pad, which is what I would have done immediately, just like run off of the transporter pad. But Quark like knows what he's doing and does it really quickly.
Yeah.
Quark actually had a really great performance in this episode.
Yeah.
Like when he's being accosted to drink soup and like when he like sees opportunities to when he sees the opportunity to like steal replicated food and you can just see him like the greed in his eyes. It's so good. Hey, what's up, John? He can compact his mass and he can have the wheel glide onto liquid, giving it the illusion. Okay.
Yeah, you can't
solved it. Solved it.
How does he get rid of his extra mass? He compacts it. That's not an answer.
I'm fine with it.
How does he get extra mass? He borrows it?
Yeah.
Hand waving.
Like I'll bet that the amount of mass that he actually is actually like really small, and that like he's just kind of stretchy and he can stretch out into something larger.
Well, then maybe I'm thinking density. It's the weight issue where sometimes he weighs nothing and other times they specifically mention how heavy he is.
You don't know what he weighs. Stop judging him.
I'm going by the dialogue in the show. There's literally a point where he's inside of a bucket or whatever.
Yeah.
Somebody picks it up. They're like, "Oh, this is heavy."
Okay, so we'll watch for that.
Yeah.
When he turns into a frog, he expands his volume, and then John says he changes his density.
All right, we're getting into a deep rabbit hole here.
I want to go in it. Like most humans, he's mostly liquid, just solid on the surface. A fog, not frog. Okay, that it's a very different thing to turn into.
Yeah.
But I didn't question frog for a second. I'm like, yeah, I'm sure he turned into a frog. We've already seen him turn into a rat, like an earth rat. Why did he turn into an earth rat? That doesn't make sense.
Maybe Earth rats and Kardashian rats look the same.
Have you ever noticed how they did it again in this episode? Like whatever that soup was, it's like Deruvian soup or stew or whatever.
Tholian.
It's like fake word, real word. They always do that, like fake word, real word. Yeah. It always happens, like every episode. He can alter density as well. Density is everything. I don't understand science, so I don't think you can alter... Colleen stew? I knew a girl named Colleen.
Colleen stew.
That sounds... Well, it's replicated, so I guess it's humane. So...
This episode just has a lot of little... This is my issue with the episode, is that there's a great premise, and then there's all these little weird things that... like, any part of this episode that you start to think about just spirals off into weird things. It's filled, it's absolutely. A mind trap. Absolutely. There's other episodes you're like, oh, all this is pretty solid. This is this, like... delicate, fragile thing that they didn't finish building. Like, here, just look at it. Don't touch it.
Yeah,
oh God!
If you touch it, it will shatter.
Yeah,
yeah, and it's a little frustrating because the aphasia storyline is great. Like a virus spreading throughout the ship that makes everybody lose their ability to communicate. But like the interesting way to do that is to keep them at their posts and not be able to communicate with each other and be like screaming at each other and nonsense the whole time.
Just corny.
Why didn't they make that episode? They were so close. It would have been so much better. What's up, Quite the Snapper? Good to see you.
Let's just put everyone in a box. They can't.
Yeah, just throw them into like one fucking room and leave them alone. Like I hated that because then it just became like waiting for who's aphasic next.
Yeah,
and then it. Of course, the captain is like, well, commander is one of the last to become afflicted. It turned into like the Naked Time, like those. It's like almost the exact same plot.
Yeah.
Which is so funny because they did that in the first, or they did that in the beginning of TNG.
Like
they did it in the original series, where I'm so glad you can make a live
fight. Going back to the same well over and over again.
Yeah, where like everyone gets a virus that that makes them act crazy and then removes them from active duty.
Right.
And it's like almost the same exact plot, rehashed for the third time on the third iteration of Star Trek. Like where everyone becomes drunk on TNG in the original series, there's that virus that makes them drunk and they have to figure it out. Yeah, this was almost the exact same storyline, and it really didn't need to be. Like it would have been so much improved if they had just kept everyone aphasic and working at their posts.
Yeah,
I thought that would have been so much more interesting.
Super Hamster Gaming did the virus affect both of Dax's brains? I think that's an interesting question.
I think absolutely. Assuredly it did.
Right, because then Jadzia would be having a hard time communicating, and then
with her symbiont.
Right, so then like so I would imagine, she's having thoughts that are also hard to understand.
That's also a more interesting story.
Yeah.
Like, oh my god, if I were writing this, I would have had the first person to become aphasic be her symbiont, not Jadzia. And she's like, my symbiont is speaking madness to me, and I can't understand it. Yeah. Like, yeah, that'd be, and then she starts to do it also.
Yeah.
Although that would rob us of O'Brien being the first one.
Yeah.
And he wins for aphasic acting because his descent. What's the other trans word I'm trying to think of?
Transcendent?
No.
Transverse?
His
transportation? Transporter?
I don't know. I'm wrong. His descent into aphasia is so realistic.
Yeah.
It's so well acted. It's kind of astonishing. Like he's the one person where you can really hear his thoughts and you can almost understand him, which makes me so sad that they didn't just do the whole episode that way, because that to me was really good writing. I see why they didn't, because no one else was really able to pull it off. Like all the other actors speaking this nonsense gibberish, I didn't believe anyone else.
Yeah, that's fair.
Yeah, I mean,
they sounded like they were just reciting.
Yeah, even Avery Brooks, like his delivery of the aphasia did not quite work for me. And also, he was the only person to get sick before he got aphasic. Like, he was physically ill first. I wondered
about that, where they're trying to show, like, he's holding out, or, I don't know. Then I was just like, it doesn't matter. They're just...
Yeah.
It's almost matter. They forgot how their virus worked towards the end.
They actually said at one point it has a different, like... what's not digestion period, incubation. Thank you. I can't do words today. Has a different incubation period for everybody. So like that was the ultimate hand wave. It's like this virus works differently for everyone that contracts it, and it doesn't make sense. And then of course people start dying. Well, not dying, but like getting sick halfway through. And that's also like such a trope, like this virus that does this crazy thing to people becomes deadly eventually. Yeah. But then also like I knew they weren't going to kill anyone because O'Brien was the first one sick, so it just they're not going to kill O'Brien.
Yeah.
So
there's a lot of weak points. Great premise. Yeah, they did not flesh out the premise to my satisfaction personally, but I love the premise. Congratulations to Quite the Snapper who made it to catch a live episode.
Yeah. Let's see. Amanda says they focus on O'Brien early a lot. They're still trying to win over TNG viewers. I totally agree.
Yeah, so much of Deep Space Nine is this like O'Brien, Worf.
Yeah, totally. I don't know. I mean, O'Brien is also just like one of the most enjoyable characters. Like he's such a good actor.
He's supposed to be like the everyman.
Yeah, and he does such a good job of it. If I were writing that show, I would want to write O'Brien episodes all the time.
Yeah, the sad part about O'Brien is that they had a great opportunity to have a very interesting relationship story going on with him and Keiko.
Yeah,
similar to what I think they do successfully with Jake and Cisco.
Yeah,
it's weird to say Jake and Cisco because
they're both Cisco.
Yeah, Ben and Jake.
Yeah, Ben and Jake,
as I like to call them, Bake. Because that's a good relationship, and that shows an interesting family dynamic in a Star Trek setting.
Right.
And then the Keiko O'Brien thing is just hack bullshit. And even in this one, there's the past couple episodes, Keiko gets mentioned in side dialogue a lot, and it's always like, is she still nagging at you, O'Brien?
Yeah, because she just doesn't want to be there. That's like, but I mean, her teacher storyline is really nice, but her like nagging O'Brien about not wanting to be there.
Yeah.
Feels a little strange. I don't know. It also feels like it could be real.
Yeah.
Like, but the way that it's told and like the lack of her perspective makes it a little frustrating.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And the way other characters talk about it unquestioned is another thing that's just like
And we don't really hear much from her about not wanting to be there. We hear it from a lot of other characters.
Yeah.
Like we hear a little bit from her in that one episode, but
everyone is needling him. It's like, is your wife still busting your nuts?
Yeah.
It's they're half away from making the whip sound at O'Brien all the time.
Yeah, the way that O'Brien interacts with the women of the galaxy, including his wife, is very questionable.
Quite the Snapper agrees. Hack bullshit. Thank you. But I still love Star Trek, even though they do have a tendency to do this. They're getting better. Watch Discovery. First 13 episodes of any Star Trek series.
Gross.
I'm telling you. Discovery's still better. I mean, I like some of these episodes here, but
I think we're already way better. Deep Space Nine is already so much better than Discovery. Already.
No.
Far better. Far better.
No. It's got too many.
I'd have to rewatch Discovery to pull apart everything.
We'll get there. We're gonna circle all the way around. We're starting at Deep Space Nine.
I do hope we get there, but I don't want to watch it again.
I'm looking forward to getting to Below Decks.
Below Decks, yeah, Lower Decks. Oh, we gotta talk about this. So this was just announced like 2 days ago that they're making an adult animated cartoon Star Trek show called Lower Decks. Comedy show for CBS All Access. Like what? That is,
it's brilliant.
Bizarre.
It's just such a good. It's something I've been saying to anyone who would care to listen. But at the time, I was thinking about Star Wars. That as a franchise, that they had a lot of opportunity to make a variety of things with their properties, and that because they did show more willingness to kind of do different things, but why not just even something that's like a straight romantic comedy or like this, a comedic show. It doesn't always have to be action adventure genre.
I always thought it'd be cool to do a Starfleet medical show.
Yeah,
that's like
like an ER drama.
It's like a medical drama.
Space doctors. The perfect. It would be great.
Yeah, but it's so fun. I was listening to a podcast with Matt Myra, and he specifically said like that's the worst idea. Like not having heard it from me, obviously, but just like they could do other. They were talking about doing like how Star Trek is basically a procedural. It's a procedural show, and like what other types of procedurals could you do a Star Trek? And someone said like a medical drama, and he's like that would be the absolute worst show ever. Because it would all be made up bullshit every week, like solving a made up bullshit problem.
Very much unlike the majority of TNG.
Right, totally. It's all made up bullshit problems. But, like, learning how to solve them in a way that fits within the Prime Directive and within Starfleet values and Federation values is what makes it great.
I feel like to reject a premise whole-handedly like that just shows a lack of imagination. It comes down to the writing. It comes down to the implementation of it.
Yeah. John says they're trying to compete with Orville. I think that they did see that, like, Orville is doing really well, and Orville is still feels like Star Trek, even though it's funny, so that it can be done, you know?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I don't think that the Orville is... It sounds to me like they were planning on doing more with the franchise if Discovery did well.
True.
You know, and then from what I had seen, they were at least saying that the numbers were high enough. So then I think that is when they're like, oh, let's do all this other stuff.
Yeah, I mean, now, like, the floodgates are open. They're doing these short treks. They're doing the Captain Picard show. They're doing this animated show. They've already signed up for 2 years of the animated show.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still... I don't know. Because I don't like Discovery almost at all, I'm still, like, super nervous about the rest of these shows. Yeah, if Season 2 of Discovery is good, I will be, like, overjoyed.
What's going to happen is, if they let it get to the 6 or 7 seasons, you're just going to be like, dude, you were 100% right. Yeah, I still hate that first 13 episodes, and I'll be like, just like TNG, and you'll be like, yeah, just like those first 13 stinkers in TNG, and they'll be high-fiving at how awesome Star Trek is.
Even in the first 13 of TNG, or even the whole first season of, I think there's 26 episodes, there are, like, gems, you know? There's like, I mean, where no man has gone before, or where no one has gone before is a total gem. I love that episode.
And then there's Code of Honor.
Code of Honor is maybe the worst.
It's one of the worst things made.
Yeah, I was thumbing through Netflix the other day, and when I went to TNG, you know how it, like, shows clips of an episode? It shows Code of Honor. And I was like, this is the worst.
They try to scare people
And
off.
it was like the moment where Lutan arrives with his delegation.
He kicks the carpet.
Oh my god, I'm like, no one will watch this. No one would watch this
And to me, that is like, yeah, Discovery has some episodes that are like, but none of them are like that. And TNG goes on to
I think the episodes of Discovery are far worse than that.
Oh, I can't wait till we get there.
Far worse. For me, like, Discovery suffers from a complete lack of like,
I'm laughing at how
a writing center and a moral center. I know, it's awful. But Lower Decks, I mean, I'm
baiting the hook like every time we get together.
I'm cautiously excited about Lower Decks. They naming it after one of my favorite episodes ever of TNG. Oh, 7 Degrees Off Cool says favorite TNG episodes, Lessons and The Chase. I remember The Chase. The Chase is awesome. That's the one where they, like, discover the proto-species that all species are, like, from. What is Lessons? I don't remember Lessons. Quite the snapper that TNG is your favorite. Yeah, it's my favorite also, for sure. For sure. People are getting some lag. I'm actually not seeing any lag on my side, so it might be YouTube or your internet or something. It doesn't seem to be the stream itself, which is nice for once.
See you in a moment, Amanda.
Yeah, what happened in Lessons? I don't remember. Lessons.
I don't remember the titles that well.
I'm like slightly dubious about how an animated comedy show is going to fit inside of the Star Trek canon.
That's what I love about it, is that it's going to make the canon discussions like,
oh my god,
Star Trek is going to have to hit this point where they're going to be like, okay, I guess we're Doctor Who, or they're going to be like, no, all of this forced into the canon, or people who get in their heads obsessed about canon will be like, animation doesn't count.
Right.
So like TAS, and then
TAS, absolutely.
What is this, BD, Below Decks?
You know, TAS is not a good show. I watched it. There was a couple of good episodes in it that I really enjoyed, but for the most part, it's kind of a slog.
Yeah.
Yeah, Time Zero, that's right. The 2-part episode where they find Data's head in San Francisco. That is Time Zero. That's one of my favorites. I love that. It's so good. Lessons is the one where Darren... Oh, my God. I love that episode. The piano scene in the Jeffries tube. Yeah, dude, 7 Degrees. Good choice. That is a really good episode.
Yeah, and all these things, they had to get through 24 kind of stinkers with some gems.
Yeah.
This is my point. I'm telling you, Discovery, people are going to come around.
I feel like there was only maybe 3 or 4 good episodes in the 13 of
That's
Discovery.
A pretty good ratio compared to the first 13 in TNG, I would say.
I'd have to do some math to figure that out. I'd have to, like, sit down with the pen and paper.
We will. We're going to circle back.
We'll have to do it. We should.
Yeah.
Yeah, because if we're going to go through this rating system, then we can, like, rate Discovery, and I can really stick it to it. Yeah. But I am honestly, like, pretty excited. I'm just so nervous about CBS All Access Star Trek shows because I don't trust them yet. I mean,
and why should you? They've made Star Trek.
But I will say that Discovery's first season, like the first episode was written by Brian, what's his name? Is it Brian?
Fuller,
thank you. Yeah, Brian Fuller, and then he left the show to work on American Gods, and then Gretchen Halberts and Aaron Halberts and Gretchen Berg took over as showrunners. And I think they are the trash fire that is season 1 of that show. Because like when they were on After Trek talking about the decisions they made, all their reasons were awful. And After Trek made me like that show less, just like hearing them talk about it. And also, I mean, Matt Myra hosts that. He's one of my favorite podcasters, but I think like a terrible host. I have to say it out loud. I'm sorry. I hope he gets better. I'm actually really in his corner. I really love his Star Trek podcasts that I listen to, and his like, you know, Frasier podcasts, and I listened to a couple of his. And I really like him, but After Trek to me was garbage, and I think I didn't even finish watching it because I was so frustrated by it.
I never watched it. I tend to I don't watch the Coming Up Next or the whatever. Right. I don't watch the talk stuff. I just watch the show. I
just hated listening to them excuse things and like talk about how what they were doing was brilliant when it's stuff that I just really didn't like.
Fair.
But those two showrunners are gone. Like they are off the show. They were fired for being emotionally abusive to the staff and to me personally with the show that I hated.
Childhoods.
And we have like new showrunners coming up next season, and the guy who's like executive producing all of this is now working directly in the writer's room as the showrunner, along with someone else. What is his name?
Alex
Kurtzman. Yeah, and he worked on the movies, and the movies I think are decent. Like not my favorite, but I really like them. So I'm a little more optimistic about season 2 of Discovery, and now a little more optimistic about Lower Decks, because it's such an interesting premise. And I love the Robot Chicken Star Wars stuff, and I always wanted, like you were saying, like a comedy show in the Star Wars universe. Never really thought about getting one in the Star Trek universe. It never seemed like a possibility, and now that it's happening, I'm like, okay, I'm open to it.
I had talked to, and I'm not trying to say, like, I had this idea for anyone else. It's, I think, an easy place to get to. But I had talked a lot about, to many people, just, this is what I want to do. TNG... where there's a parallel show for every episode where you start off with like some family that's on the ship, and then each episode of this parallel show is what is happening to these people when all this other big stuff. And so you get like, you would leave little hints about it, or little, sometimes it would be hugely important, other times it would be like nothing.
And you could use like CG to insert. You could like insert shots from the original show and, you know, just have them in different places on the ship. I love that idea. I think that's so cool.
So this is what I like about the promise of Below Deck, because it sounds like, oh, I'm going to get to watch a version of the show that I had fantasized about for a long time.
What if that's what they do? What if it takes place on the Enterprise?
I think it's going to be its own thing. The thing I read about it said something about the least important ship in Starfleet.
Oh, okay, yeah.
Which is then it's like, close to like our Flight Space 7 of like where we have like you know, the ship of fuck ups in the Space Federation. If you like sci-fi parody though, and specifically Star Trek parody, watch Other Space.
I haven't watched that yet.
Oh, it's Other Space it's like on that's what I said for Yahoo. We do TV now, I guess. I don't even know if they still do it, but that was Paul Feig, and it's like 6 episodes, and it's great. It's so good. It's way better than Orville.
Amanda's back, and she's like, we fell so far off track. We absolutely did.
Yeah, was there anything else in this particular...
There's a couple more things I wanted to touch on. John says every episode of Discovery with a Klingon in it is bad because they made them purple lizards. Absolutely. They look so silly.
No, Klingons have always looked that way.
I mean, it's not that they... It's not that they look silly, it's that they look like a different species. And now, have you heard about how they're adding hair back for season 2 of Discovery?
I've seen the pictures, yeah.
And have you heard the in-canon reason, like the canon universe reason they're doing it?
They shave them for war?
Yeah, it's ridiculous. And then, like, they already have an answer to the question of why don't they do that in the future, and the answer is because, like, Takuvma's predictions of how Klingon ways were going to be diluted by contact with humans have come true, so they no longer follow all of the old ways. And it's like, come on. Like, you are retconning, and you are then retconning your retconning to prepare for the fan backlash. It's like, just don't do that. Just don't write that. Don't change the whole look of a species just to hide an actor in makeup so you can do a switcheroo that is gonna suck anyway. I don't know. It drove me crazy.
Yeah, that's fair.
Dr. Pulaski isn't in this Parallels show. Just to make sure she's... I like Dr. Pulaski.
Yeah, she's another one. She didn't do anything wrong. You know, Gates McFadden got harassed by someone on the production staff, and so she left. She? That's something I read. Maybe it's not
I
true.
heard that she got booted because the producers weren't happy with her character. And then brought her back because they made a character that the fans weren't happy with.
Sounds like everyone's got a story.
Yeah.
But yeah, that was just... I don't know. It's when there's the aspects of fandom that I myself participate in that start to, like the hatred towards Pulaski or Keiko or sometimes like Luoxana. There's this, I don't know, it feels gross sometimes at its edges, where I don't think the blame is on anyone except for maybe the writers of the show or the fans' own preconceptions they bring to it.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I also think that these shows, while they do try pretty hard to, like... My orb. Oh, your orb is up there. Yeah, they do try pretty hard to make the female characters, like, fleshed out, and they do try pretty hard to say, like, in the future, men and women are equal.
Right.
It was still a product of its time, and there are still a lot of problematic, like, sexist things that happen. Yeah, yeah. And I also think that the reception of a lot of the characters is inherently a little bit sexist, you know?
Yeah, because it's the fandom.
Yeah, because it's the fandom. So I think that really hurt Dr. Pulaski. Because I think Dr. Pulaski is actually, like, when you look at her as a character, she is Bones McCoy. Like, she is McCoy.
She's McCoy as a lady.
Yeah. And fans love McCoy, but they hate Pulaski, and it's like a woman in that role is somehow offensive, whereas a man in that role is celebrated. And I think there's something weird there.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean,
yeah. But I think she's arguably a better doctor than Dr. Crusher.
Dr. Crusher is the doctor that will be like, all right, I'll give you that prescription. Wink.
I think Dr. Crusher is a great doctor, I do, but like Dr. Pulaski was like erasing people's memories and, you know, like doing magic bullshit, like de-aging people. Actually, no, well, she kind of helped with that, I guess. I don't. She was
stepped up to the job.
Yeah.
Well, they got a McCoy doctor, so then it's like, okay, so now it's back to space weirdness.
She had to fly across the galaxy to fix Picard's heart because she was the only person who could do it. Because that other hammy actor was like, we need one of these, or this man is dying.
Oh, we have to go through all of Star Trek. This is just too much fun.
Yeah, well, yes! Okay, the other thing from this episode I want to talk about is the questionable morality that Kira displays.
When kidnapping another person.
Kidnapping that dude and infecting him with a disease to force him to cure the disease.
Yeah, oh yeah. That
was really interesting. I liked it.
I do like it because it is very much a Kira thing where she's like,
absolutely.
This is what needs to get done, I'm going to do it, and we're just going to... They never... What's interesting is it never gets questioned by anyone else, because the episode didn't really care about that.
Right.
It's almost like, well, the audience doesn't see this as any kind of gray area. He's a stick in the mud for being a dick about not giving up help for this, so she can just grab him and go.
She is showing her terrorist roots, you know, like, do what needs to be done to get what you need done to happen, because what you believe is that this thing is correct and you need to do it.
Yeah,
you know? Like, putting your own beliefs above someone else's safety, is interesting, because like you don't see that from Federation officers,
right?
From Starfleet officers,
right? But not typically,
but you do see it from Kira, and then you see it from Miles in the next episode. So I take it back, you do see it from Federation
I was gonna say it's not
in the very next episode, but yeah, I thought that was really interesting because she like just straight up kidnaps him. She like calls him to make sure he's in his office.
Are you there? Yep.
She knows the one life sign. She makes sure it's him because she knows that she's going to infect him. She wants to be sure it's him because like if he created this virus, then he deserves to have it in her mind.
What if he gets up there and he's like, I don't know anything.
Yeah, and which he says immediately, and she's not even like, oops, sorry. She's like, well, you better learn quick or else you're dead, motherfucker.
Now we're just getting back to the like, for a guy who said he had nothing to do with it, he fixed it awfully quick.
He fixed it so fast.
Why was he being such a dick about like, I'm gonna let this whole space station die?
Yeah.
He probably could have done it over the phone.
Yeah, this whole episode basically sets up the DS9 crew as completely inept, except for like the people who aren't Starfleet. Like Odos and Quark and Kira save the day. And they're the non-Starfleet officers. Like everyone who's in Starfleet who should be adept at dealing with weird viruses that make people go crazy and then kill them eventually. That is normal for Starfleet officers. Like that's like every day. And like they can't deal with it. Like Bashir has no idea what to do. I mean, he made like very little progress, and every time he made progress, he's like, "I have to show you this, Commander Sisko. Like, I have something to show you." And then they walk in, and it's just like, "I've made progress and can't do anything." Or now it's more serious, and now O'Brien is gonna die, and you know, I have to show you this. Your son is now sick. Like,
just keep working on it.
Just send me a text message and then call me when you have good news, motherfucker. Like, what the fuck?
There's no text messages. You send someone to his office with a pad.
That's true. Amanda says they were not human, so apparently the virus incubated differently. Well, all the rest of the Bajorans on the station that got sick quicker, like Bajorans seem to not be immune, but maybe Ferengi and maybe changelings are immune. Maybe. Like Quark does say that he has like a Ferengi immune system,
right?
Which, you know, I'd like to hear more about. They grew up on a wet planet.
Yeah.
So they probably are like very resilient to molds. I would guess.
Yeah, it's a lot of spores in Ferengi.
Yeah. And then the other thing that I loved towards the end of this, I love the whole sequence where they're trying to stop that scaredy captain from like pulling his ship away. Jahil, yeah. I actually really liked his arc, even though his acting was bizarre.
He did this thing where he just seemed like he was always looking...
I am very upset with the way that you are handling this. I do not want to get sick.
My fruit is going to rot.
I felt for that guy, though. I mean, he had...
he had a mission.
He had fruit that was going to rot. He has to, like, make money and shit. I liked his character a lot, actually. I liked the fact that, you know... if you're reverse engineering the story and you're thinking, how do I add tension to the end? How do I add a potential explosion? Because that is tense. How do I do that? I think that what they came up with is actually pretty smart. You know,
pretty good.
Have someone who's scared to get the virus who tries to run. I thought that was like pretty good. And then I love the special effects and I love the practical effects when Odo has to manually release the docking clamps.
Yeah.
And you see this like giant pneumatic tube. It's really cool. Yeah. It's like really cool. I really liked that.
It brings to life the physicality of Deep Space Nine as it plays.
Totally. Yeah. This whole episode did a lot of that stuff. Why is there always a manual release? Because you need a manual release. I love a manual release. Like the manual in the First Contact, the manual release when they have to go outside to manually release the deflector dish. That whole sequence is fucking dope.
Oh, do you want to bring up the meme from this episode?
Yes, let's do it. Hold on, let me catch up with chat real quick.
Okay.
Patrick asks, Doug, Jesse, how true does a true story need to be based on a true story?
You got to see our other stream called Boats, based on a true story.
I have no idea what he's talking about. Yeah, I have no idea. I think barely. I think the answer is barely. I think that Deep Space Nine is based on a true story. Cisco wanting to go... Yeah, his coffee. We talked about that. His crazy coffee acting. Totally.
Yeah. The episode is bookended by him doing...
O'Brien! Yeah.
O'Brien!
Yeah, but he's like... It's like he like winds up for hot. He like winds up... No! Too hot! I don't know.
We found out that
IDIC, that is what we're trying to do, man. That's what we're trying to do. Welcome.
Oh, yeah.
O'Brien!
O'Brien likes his coffee black double sweet.
Gamer guy, what's up, dude? How does the refrigeration technology suck so bad? Yeah. Why can't he put his fruit into cryo sleep or something?
This is one of those things where they don't even bother to hand wave it away because you know it would just be something like, it's a thing that's got a half-life and we can't do this because if we do this then this other thing happens.
Yeah, it makes very little sense. But I love it anyway. I mean, you're in this weird zone on Deep Space Nine where you have all these different species with different technologies and different abilities.
Right.
But the Federation is like freely offering their technologies and abilities except for people who need food because replicators apparently are only for Starfleet officers.
Oh yeah, or when later on they get into the whole like industrial replicator issue. That becomes
You'll take it? How do you pronounce your name? Idik? Should I say Idik? I'm bad at names sometimes.
IDIC?
But that reminds me how Quark has like those little... They're not isolinear chips, they're like tubes.
Oh yeah, for security.
Yeah, so he can hack into the system, because of course he has that. Yeah. I love that you get a little bit more about what makes Quark a crook in this episode. I thought that was super great.
Yep.
Where he like has hacked into the main security system. I love that.
Yeah,
and like he's going to steal shit from replicators, because why the fuck not? I love that. Yeah. I love how he just does whatever he needs to do. Yeah, Scotty put a man in transport. He put himself in a transport for 80 years, but fruit still rots. Totally.
Yeah.
Although he found a way to like do some sort of feedback loop to avoid signal degradation.
Transporters and replicators. That's another one of those things we start to peel away at this onion, and it just doesn't stop.
Adik, it's from Vulcan lore. Oh, cool.
Yeah, infinite diversity, infinite combination.
Oh, I didn't even catch that.
IDIC.
That's awesome. That's super cool. I love it. Very cool, dude. Yeah, totally.
It's kind of the Vulcan way of being like, you know, whatever, man. We're all chill.
Yeah, the memes. We got to do the memes.
Oh yeah,
let's do the meme for this episode. Ooh, yeah. We should break them down by episode.
Yeah, let's just do the one for this one.
I think it's this one.
Yeah.
Is this the right one?
Yeah, that's the right one. Because that was the blowing the docking clamps.
Do you want to read it? Do you want me to read it?
Commander, the Sexbot ambassador from the planet Sexatronic 9000 is here, but all of Quark's holosuites are offline. If we don't perform the oral sex ritual in time, this whole station is in danger. What are we gonna do?
We'll have to get down there and blow it manually. I really like this one. Yeah, we
it's
have
okay because the Sexbot's ambassador's pronouns are it.
We have a Doug Space 9 Instagram, and Doug is making memes for every episode, and there's a link in the description.
And then I also throw in other ones from other Star Trek that I'm also watching concurrently.
I saw that. I loved that. That was very exciting. Okay, we need to do our ratings for this episode. I forgot to pull up the spreadsheet. Let's see. Wait, it's on my Drive, my Google Drive. I shared the spreadsheet. Well, I'll share it again, actually. I'll share it with you now.
Okay. With me or with them?
I'll just pop it into the chat.
Oh, okay.
I shared it in my Discord. Doug Space 9. Open. Share. Let me get the link. Working. Come on. Share. Loading.
Maybe they're right and it is lagging.
Okay, so anyone can view. Alright, there you go. There's the link to the spreadsheet. And we're gonna update this right now. Copy, paste, season 1, episode 4, Babel. Okay, so we're gonna rate it out of up to 10 bars of gold pressed latinum. And for these purposes, let's just say like strips are half a bar, even though that's not true. So like 10 bars, 5 strips.
We're doing a decimal.
Yeah. We've just decisions. It's been decided. Okay, so let's rate this episode. Go for it. What do you think?
I don't know, man.
Oh wait, I'm sorry. But while we do this, let me pop up the straw poll. Also, I was not prepared today, and I'll just do all numbers.
Okay, yeah.
Because that's not hard. That took like a second.
That was easy, yeah.
Okay, guys, so here is the link in chat if you want to vote on how many bars of latinum you give this episode.
Oh, we just someone got a new follower on Instagram.
Nice.
Yeah, if you like Star Trek shitposting.
Was the virus Bajoran or Cardassian? It was Bajoran meant for Cardassians, but apparently affects all species? I don't know.
Someone called me a nerd.
Your nerd is showing.
It's fair. I'll let it.
Hi, Dragon. What's up, dude?
Amanda can get away with it.
This episode made you laugh multiple times. Earns it an extra bit. Nice. Okay, rating. Let's do it. And guys, click that link in chat so you can rate with us.
5 bars, 8 strips. I think. I don't think I can muster a 6 on this one.
Because like 5.5, basically.
Yeah, this is one where like if I watched it again in a year, it'd be like 4. I think every time I watch this, it's gonna wind up going down in rating. This is one of those that it's a great episode you want to watch again. This one is just gonna make me go, oh right, and then he's got a fucking glass shelf on his cart that he turns into. So
yeah, okay. Well, this is a tough one because the premise is awesome, and there are so many moments that are so good. I mean, it's got like action, it's got intrigue, it's fun, but there's like some huge holes in it.
Right. It's that delicate.
I feel like I want to give it a 7, but I can't. I don't think it's good enough.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give it a 6.5.
Okay.
So a little higher than Doug. And then let's see, what does chat say? What does chat rate this episode? Chat gave it a 9. Wait, no, we should average this out.
Yeah.
We have a 9, a 5, and a 7. Well, now I have to do math. That's stupid. I shouldn't have to do... I don't know. I'm gonna do it anyway. Let's see.
The average is 5.25?
Let's see.
No, 18 plus 5 plus 7.
Oh, thank you. I'm not even open yet.
7.5.
7.5. Okay. I think that well, let's average it out for now. But that math might get hard eventually.
Well, we'll
who
get
cares?
some mod to do it for us.
Yeah.
Amanda, I hope you're also a math nerd.
Okay, so now
She just said that she's more like my kind of nerd than you. No offense, but I'm like literally stealing your followers.
You know what?
Yoink.
We can share, man.
Yoink.
Okay, favorite character.
That's fair.
Who is our favorite character in this episode?
The virus.
She says, no, I am not. Favorite characters. Who do we want to nominate for favorite character? Doug says the virus.
Yeah, because that was ridiculous.
Man, this is tough. I feel like Odo and Quark need to be in there.
Yeah, that's fair.
Who else?
O'Brien. It's O'Brien bringing it home.
Amanda says you won't even give out your YouTube channel, Doug, so you can't steal her.
I don't think I have a YouTube channel.
O'Brien is nominated.
Maybe I do.
Anyone else? Those are good nominations. I think those are good. Let's vote between those 4.
Yeah, that's good.
Creating the poll. Okay.
Someone's disputing our results, but sorry.
Okay, here's your poll to vote on favorite character. Favorite character, what do you think, Doug?
Favorite character?
Yeah, in this episode.
I voted the virus.
Oh, that's right, the virus.
I was like, wait a minute.
I think that's fair. Favorite character in this episode.
It was so adaptable. It became airborne, it worked on multiple species.
I'm going Quark.
Oh, that's good. That's legit.
I'm going Quark because, like, Quark saving the day at the end, beaming Odo and scaring him right before he transports him. Like, all that shit was so funny. I really enjoyed that. So yeah, I'm going Quark with this episode. Gamer Guy says I'd be dumb as hell with my vote. Alright, let's see. Let's look at the results. Quark is the winner! I was correct. I feel like more people should have voted for the virus. Okay, and now we gotta vote for best performance.
Okay. We go by character names because it's easier.
Character names. I'm nominating Miles O'Brien.
Of course, I figured you would.
Because his aphasia acting is exceptional.
I'm going to nominate Quark because I wasn't as blown away by O'Brien's aphasia acting.
Quark's performance in this episode was really good, I think. Anyone else that we want to nominate?
I want to put Avery Brooks
for his O'Brien for his coffee acting. Let's put him.
If they didn't bookend the series with his fakey coffee reactions, he'd have a strong. I'd have a hard time choosing between him and Quark.
Jake. Okay, Jake is nominated for best performance.
Sounds good.
He did a really good job.
Yeah.
I think that the only legitimate reason to vote for Avery Brooks in this episode is because his physical acting with Jake was so good.
It's like he has one amazing scene. The rest of his stuff is solid Avery Brooks, and then 2 really bad things.
Yeah.
Yeah, tough call.
Okay, I think that's good. I think we got what, 4
random background characters.
Random background characters. What's his name? Jaheel.
Jaheel, yeah. Oof.
Who's just like, you must let me go. I am needing to save my space fruit. Okay, here's our poll.
I don't want to get sick.
Yeah.
No one wants to get sick, you asshole.
Morn. Morn is good, but too late. Okay, there's your poll, my friends. So I'm definitely going best performance. I'm definitely going with O'Brien.
Yeah, I assume you're gonna pick who you nominate.
Yeah, and what's his name? For this, I like to write the real name.
Oh, Cole Meany.
Yeah, thank you. And then who did you go? Wait, that's you. Who'd you go with?
Quark.
And I went with Colmini.
And then we'll see what.
And then what does chat say? Best performance. Chat says Miles O'Brien.
Yeah, fair.
Jaheel got a vote though.
Nice.
Me and chat, dude, we are like simpatico today.
Amanda's the closest to me with chat. Once she,
dude, Amanda's totally on my side.
Brilliance of Discovery.
She hears you talking about this nonsense, and she's like, I don't know what he's talking about. It's all nonsense.
Listen, I know that I'm a rebel with my out there views of Discovery.
You're a crazy person.
History will prove me right, like it has with every other Star Trek series.
Nope. Don't fight over me, she says.
What you need to do, Jesse, is have faith of the heart.
Ah! I've got faith of the heart. No one's gonna bend or break me. I can reach any star. I've got faith. I've got faith.
Faith of the heart. All right, now we definitely...
Fuck that song. All right, we're taking a break, you guys. We'll be back in a couple minutes. Doug's gonna smoke a cigarette. It's an American spirit, so it takes a couple minutes.
Yeah, and then we'll talk about. We're gonna do. Captain
and then we got a whole other episode to talk about.
Yeah, somebody said, "Oh, I didn't see that episode." Like, it doesn't matter, dude. Just it'll still be fun.
Yeah,
because we'll
sing
talk about,
Traveler.
We're gonna talk about so much other things.
I know. I'm not gonna sing Traveler. Whenever I sing on stream, I sing it in like a dumb voice. I actually sing, but I'm like too embarrassed to use my real singing voice unless there's music behind me. It's really weird.
Oh, interesting. Yeah, I can't sing, so I got no shame.
Yeah, yeah. Like you can listen to my music in other places. Okay, hold on. Let's see. I gotta get a break set up here. Here's the AFK screen. Boom. What's next? Let's see. Oh, I gotta turn off the camera and then the microphone, and then we'll be back in a couple of minutes, my friends. Go pee, go take a break. We'll see you in a few. Yo. I'm back. Doug's still on his break. Okay, good. You can hear me. But I'm ready, so I'm like, hey, I'll just chat with you guys for a second. I just remembered that I released a podcast last night, and I just put a link in the description. Wait. Oh my god. Doug just got modded. Go-Girl just deleted Doug's comment for being self-promotion. Go-Girl, Doug is part of the live show. But that's fair, that's fair. We have that rule. That makes me laugh so much. That's hilarious. Yeah, Doug is in chat while smoking a cigarette outside. That's really funny. Yeah, so I just posted a link in the description. I put a podcast out last night. It's 3 hours long. It's me and this awesome dude, Wes, talking about Star Wars and Star Trek and like what we want from the Captain Picard show, which I really enjoyed. Get ready for the banhammer, indeed. Oh, that is so funny. DS9 is the best stream. I love it. It is so fun. Doug and I were just talking about that, how fun this is. Yeah, I'm really, really enjoying it. I feel like this is... right now I'm kind of planning on replacing my podcast with this show. Because, you know, I still feel the need to talk about sci-fi shit. But the podcast has a lot of post-production. And this does not. This is like... so much fun. I get to, like, you know, talk to people live also. And then it's also really nice to do something, you know, with Doug regularly. Because Doug came on my podcast a lot, and like finding new podcast guests all the time is always so frustrating. So just having one person to work with is really great. I'm really digging it. You're gonna put Doug on a timeout? So yeah, let's chat until Doug gets back. You guys tell me what you want to talk about. You tell me. You're available? Get your ass in here. You want to talk about SMM? Oh man, yeah, so Sunday, I'm streaming Mario Maker on Sunday, and I just had this idea today, and I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna play through all 4 levels of the 100-man challenge. Oxendor, what's up? This is a show called Doug Space 9 where my friend Doug and I talk about Star Trek Deep Space Nine. He's smoking outside. He'll be back in a second. And he's in chat also. We're gonna talk. We just talked about the episode Babel, and we're about to talk about Captive Pursuits, which is the one with Tusk, which is a really good episode. Yeah, so on Sunday I'm gonna play Mario Maker, and I'm gonna do all 4 levels. What's up, Glitchy Brothers? All 4 levels of the 100-man. So easy, normal, hard, and super expert. Is it called hard? Expert. It's called expert, right? I am everywhere. Yeah, because I never play like expert runs anymore, and I enjoy expert runs. Expert's like 16 levels with 100 lives, and then super expert is 6. Super expert's like infuriating, and I normally don't have more than 1 of them in me before I get pissed off and have to stop. And I also really want to play the Blind Kaiser race level, because I normally stream on Saturdays with Mario Maker, but I can't this week. So I'm switching to Sunday. So I'll probably play the Blind Kaiser race level, but like later in the evening. That's what I'm thinking. Or maybe start out with the 100-mans. And every once in a while you see something like brilliant in an easy 100-man. So I don't know. I was watching Carl Sagan this morning with his new video where he like played blindfolded, and it just seemed so insane. And it just got me thinking about it. Are you like trying to sneak up on me, or what's happening? I hear you. I know you're here.
I know. I'm not trying to be sneaky.
Okay.
I'm just naturally sneaky.
The funny thing is, like, you just walked behind me, behind the green screen, but like you can't even see you on screen.
Oh, hold on.
Are you in?
Clock in.
Are you in my raccoon wounds? I literally don't know at all what that means. I have no ideas about what that could even possibly mean. Ooh, you want some of this?
Oh yeah, sure. Yeah, go girl. Thank you. I appreciate that.
It's
that
clogged.
Was, no. No one gets to promote stuff.
It's my unclogged face. It's not working. I'm gonna try it.
No.
If I make the face harder, it might work.
Okay. See if I can remotely program it.
It worked. It worked. Yeah. Use the L cars to unclog my drugs. Oh, a Family Guy reference from 2011. Nice. All right, well, you motherfuckers ready to dive into Season 1, Episode 5, Captive Pursuits? Because I'm fucking ready.
Yeah.
Wow, that smoke looked really cool in front of the green screen.
I do vape clouds on my other stream. It's called the Vape Cloud stream. Streams of vape clouds. It's pretty tight.
I just blew that in your face because I wanted to see what it looked like when I blew it over you. Oh, I didn't have enough smoke to make it look cool. You're old. Someone would donate to that to the Vape Cloud stream. Dude, I was on Twitch the other day and I just looked up ASMR because I was curious, and it was the weirdest thing I've ever seen.
I like ASMR.
Yeah?
That's another thing that I had heard about a while back, and then was like, oh wow, this is really cool, and then didn't hear anything about it, and all of a sudden, you know, it's this whole world now.
Yeah.
It's interesting.
I might go grab I feel like a migraine coming on. I might go grab a weed candy.
Okay.
To head it off at the pass.
Okay.
With giggles. Can you mind holding down the fort for a
Sure.
second? I'll be right back.
Holding the fort.
Now it's the awkward time where we have to think of something to say.
Where does Jesse keep his wallet? Is there money in this thing? Nope, that's empty. Okay. Who wants to guess Jesse's passcode to his phone? Oh, hi, he's back. Never mind.
What are you doing?
We're going to play a game on the chat called Guess Jesse's Passcode.
I love it. Let's do it. Yeah, I've spent like almost 100% of my donations on streaming stuff.
Yeah.
Streaming's, you know, there's a lot of gear.
I like it.
I really want to get a new streaming chair, because look at that. I got a giant pillow.
Oh,
that chair
yeah.
looks cool, but hurts my booty.
Yep, understood. And this one, I'll break this one eventually. I keep fidgeting. I can't sit still.
Yeah, these chairs that we're sitting in, the see-through ones, are from upstairs.
Could be Odo.
Oh.
He can turn into see-through material.
Also, that one could be Odo because he can make wheels. What candy is that? It's called a Marma. It's a weed candy.
No,
I get these weird, like, I've talked about my health stuff a little bit, but I get these weird, I call it a migraine, but it's not really a migraine, where, like, my head starts feeling strange, and, like, I get, like, weird, like, tingly feelings in my arm and leg and stuff, and, like, weed actually really helps.
Oh, okay.
This is medicinal. It's also really fun, and it's also really hard to open.
Amanda doesn't have a passcode for her phone.
Well,
Excellent. First guest.
Doug just wants access to everyone's phone. Let's take half, because it's all you need.
Yeah.
It's legal, it's okay.
We're cool. We're cool, bro.
Do you want half?
No, I'm good. Thank you. Appreciate it. I just keep hitting that pen from time to time.
You vape medicinal pot? Yeah, I mean,
Yeah.
this is like 1-to-1 CBD, the vape pen. Yeah, I get these weird episodes where I'm actually more clear-headed if I'm stoned than if I'm not, because like my brain kind of goes weird.
Any past episode will show it's the opposite effect for me.
We keep doing this where we're like sober in the first half and then like stoned in the second half. I'm gonna make sure I'm ready.
Gonna make sure I'm stoned. That edible needs a good like booster fuel.
Yeah. Edible's gonna take a while.
Legal across Canada.
Yeah, last time I had an edible before, because I woke up not feeling well, and I was like a goofball by the time we started.
Oh.
Okay, let's go! Captive Pursuits, here we go!
Out of the gate.
I am Tosk, motherfuckers!
Out of the gate in this episode, we wind up having Quark switch from like a charming, roguish criminal, like, oh yeah, I'm a criminal, but look, I'll help out the station a couple of times, to
legit
I make my female employees sign a contract that requires them to provide sexual favors to me, their boss.
It is very upsetting. It's really gross. And I feel like it's almost played for laughs, but
it is. It's the oof. And they keep cutting themselves off. They won't quite say it. They're leading you up to the edge. They're always like, oh, but this contract, this part about the exchange of
right, like they won't quite. Yeah, totally. I noticed that. So, but Cisco's reaction to it, I thought, was really appropriate, which was like incredulous anger.
We're putting a stop to this right now.
Like, I'm sure this is not going to really be a problem for you in the future, because he's like, on this station, this is not going to fly, which I liked, but I really could have done without the whole scene. It was like a weird, distasteful,
especially without
thing
having.
In the beginning.
I thought they were going to bookend it this whole time, and I've seen this episode now like 4 times. I keep waiting for the end of the episode to be a circle back to like, oh, by the way, everything's cool with the Dabo girl that we made you emotionally invested in her sexual slavery for no reason at the opening.
Right. Yeah. Very, very strange. Yeah. So let's move on from that, because it was weird. What was the name of the hunter species? Tusk.
No, the hunter species, they don't. Tusk is the hunted.
Oh, that's right. He's the hunted, not the hunter.
I don't think they ever say
they didn't name them, Yeah,
I call them Mr. Robotos.
Oh my god, their outfits are ridiculous. I love them.
Yeah, they are fantastic.
They're totally like 60s sci-fi. What do aliens look like?
Yeah,
they're so fucking funny. Hold on, I'm gonna pull. Actually, I wonder if I could pull up the episode, because there's something in this episode I really wanted to watch. Actually, hold on. Deep Space Nine, season 1. I might be able to just pop this on screen, because it's actually fair use if we're, I didn't plan for this, but I've been thinking about trying this. It's fair use if you show clips. Captive Pursuit. Play. Oh my god. Okay, hold on. So I have to do a window capture.
Okay.
I know this is thrilling.
Are you gonna do the whole thing, or
no?
Okay.
I would not do that.
You're gonna show the Daft Punk aliens, though.
Yeah, and there's another clip I want to show.
Okay.
My favorite moment.
For the future, we'll have to like write down time codes. I'll bet we could.
Yeah.
Prep this.
Oh, this might not work. No. It doesn't work. I don't know why. I can't. I'm trying to use Amazon. I tried to do this with Netflix once and it didn't work, but it just occurred to me I could try Amazon. I could try CBS All Access. I'd have to do a window capture, and it won't capture this video for some reason.
Well, we can just get a screenshot, right?
Yeah, well, that's the least we can do.
Yeah. What are you looking for? I'm curious to watch your...
Well, the clip I wanted to show was Odo walking slowly towards the turbo lift.
Oh, yeah.
Because it is hilarious. I laughed so hard.
Yeah, that's towards the end when they're gonna help the hunted get away, and then Odo is all Mr. Johnny on top of it, like, yep, O'Brien's being a dick, and that's not cool, so we'll just stop this here, and I'll take care of everything. And Cisco's like, yeah, but maybe don't.
Yeah, he's like,
don't rush.
Yeah, you can go a little slower.
Yeah, and then Odo...
Boom!
Walks... Yeah, Odo slow walks out of ops to the turbo lift, but then he keeps stopping and looking back and making these, like, facial expressions.
And it's fucking brilliant.
It's great.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's like you're watching his character reassess Cisco.
Yeah, totally. You can see the thought process. He's like, walk a little bit slower, and he's like, oh, okay. He walks away slowly, turns around, and makes his classic Odo nod of like, and then walks even slower and like saunters into the turbo lift, and they like hold on him for so long, and it's so funny.
So I think in that moment,
it's so good.
Odo is thinking, I'm gonna be able to not have to follow all the rules if I don't want to.
Yeah, totally. But yeah, so I just pulled it up on screen. There's those dudes that the hunters that attack later, and their outfits just destroy me with how awesome they are. Like, that's what I want to dress as for Halloween. And they have like these sashes with these flashy buttons and shit on them. It's just so ridiculous. I really love it.
I'm getting distracted by chat, but yeah, Quark should have been arrested. Amanda, you're right. Out of the gate.
Yeah, totally. It's a little upsetting. It's a little upsetting. I mean, it's weird. It's weird. It's just weird. Yeah. Like, he puts into his contract that, like, if you take a job as a Babel girl, you have to give him sexual favors. It's very gross.
And illegal.
Yeah, and it...
But see, now, here's the thing. Okay, now we're going to get... It's tempting to ignore this because it's one scene.
Right.
And it never comes up again in this episode. But this is one of the problems with Deep Space Nine is, like, this episode focuses on exploration of different cultures and their laws, and how their laws and their customs, and how that comes up against the Federation and their laws and customs with their philosophy of non-interference.
Right.
They set up a really interesting but probably difficult one to explore, and now that I'm thinking about it, I'm wondering if it's supposed to be a parallel, but they leave it as an exercise to you, the viewer. You know, they don't go any further into it. Like, oh yeah, Ferengi, we know from past history that they keep their women naked, you know? And so now they have this contract that to him is probably nothing, you know?
Yeah, and they do go into this later in the series, and there's like almost a women's rights movement in Ferenginar, led by Quark's mom.
Right.
And the episodes are kind of bad, but I really like it anyway. I appreciate it. Dude, Rockin' RC, what's up, man? Welcome. Good to see you.
Okay, but the meat of this one is that they encounter the first species to come through the other side of the wormhole. Because apparently on our side, it's next to Bajor, and on their side, it's in the middle of a parking lot. You know, it's just like no one is around.
But they implied that there have been ships going in and out all the time, and they almost implied that maybe ships had come through from the other side of the wormhole, but had not docked at Deep Space Nine yet?
No, so I took it to be ships that had come through had all been their ships that they had sent through.
Okay, that makes more sense.
This is the first ship
This is the first encounter. Okay, that's what I want. Yeah, that confused me. That's what I want this to be. I want this to be an episode about, like, okay, good, I'm wrong. I'm glad to be wrong.
Yeah.
Good.
Thanks, Veda.
That actually is a relief to me, because I'm like, why didn't they tell the story of the first ship that came through the wormhole from the, what is the Delta Quadrant?
The Gamma Quadrant, right.
Delta Flyer, Voyager, Gamma Quadrant. Okay.
Right.
And that, okay, good. That's what this is then. This is the first contact with an alien species from the Gamma Quadrant.
Right.
Which is a story that I love that they decided to tell. I mean, it's what I really wanted. Like, it's to me paying off the premise of the pilot, which is, you know, we found this hole through space that goes somewhere totally new. What's going to happen?
And they do a great job of having the first one be a conflict of culture.
Yes, totally.
I think that's a great choice.
Yeah, and it's a culture that, like, from the other side of the wormhole just seems so despicable to us.
Yeah, well, and it's a heavy-handed nod to our past.
Right.
You know?
But they don't really unravel why. They don't talk about personal liberty and freedom and every sentient species' right to pursue their own life the way they want to. Like, they don't talk about that at all. They just basically say it's wrong.
It's wrong, right.
I will dock a point for, because I feel like they had an opportunity to do that and chose not to.
Well, they kind of do towards the end, because that's Tosk basically saying, like, no, yes, I could get out of this. You've given me an out, and I'm not going to take it. Because I am choosing what you perceive to be a real shitty end to my story. You know?
Right. Yeah, the first half of the episode... So, I mean, we meet this character who comes through... Okay, I'm going to back up here, because there's something I wanted to talk about. We meet this character who comes through the wormhole.
You're not going to get one.
Yeah, you're not going to get one. So, they meet this dude. His name is Tosk. He says, I am Tosk. He's basically Groot. And he, like, has very little to say except, I am Tosk.
Right.
And he wants... His ship is exploding when he comes through the wormhole.
Right.
And, like, well, can we beam him off? And he says, no, I must not leave my ship, because we don't know why. Yeah. And he's like, well, I could send out a tractor beam. O'Brien says, I could send out a tractor beam that would, like, shore up his ship enough so he wouldn't explode.
Right.
And in my mind, I'm just thinking, why isn't that always the first choice? If your tractor beams stop ships from exploding, why are you always beaming people off and letting their ships explode? Because it's, like, always people that show up in a ship that they're, like, running from something, or, like, everything they own is in this ship, like the dude from The Defector in TNG. It's like... You know, that's his only means of transportation, or at the very least, it's his personal property. And they never try to save ships if they could with the tractor beam. That felt like bullshit to me.
It sounds to me like you weren't paying attention during the tractor beam energy conservation class at the Academy, Riker.
Yeah, totally. I get annoyed when shows, like Star Trek shows in particular, add technobabble that they've never used before, that would have been very helpful a million times in the past, that they're just now admitting is a thing, where it's like obvious that they just made up an easy way to do something in this episode that didn't quite make sense. So I found that.
Why do they have to keep reinventing
silly.
technobabble? They should have really built on some of these things.
Yeah, totally.
We've already established the no exploding beam.
Yeah.
Let's use that more.
But even in that first scene, over the view screen, O'Brien calls Tosk friend immediately.
Yes, yeah.
And they just have an instant camaraderie between the two of them.
Yeah.
And that's why I love this episode.
Yeah.
Because the bromance
dynamic,
between Tosk and Miles O'Brien is fantastic.
And it's wonderful because there's like little snippets of O'Brien, which is like, he's like really oddly quick to judge and not...
Yeah.
I don't want to say that it feels like he has a good sense of character. I feel like he's just going along with stuff, you know?
Yeah.
And he's like wrong about Tosk, and then when he comes to like Tosk, he changes his mind and gives a different impression. He's kind of incurious in his own way, O'Brien.
He's a very instinctual character.
Yeah.
Who just kind of feels what he feels and is going to act upon it without really thinking about it too hard.
He's very emotional, yet doesn't express his emotions well.
Totally. Yeah. And he's very well layered and well put together as a character, even this early in the season.
Yeah.
And just his gut feeling that Tosk is a good guy dictates all of his behavior.
Right.
Which is so funny because he doesn't feel that way about Julian Bashir. He doesn't even seem to like him, and yet they end up hanging out together constantly.
Well, the problem is that O'Brien starts to develop a crush on Julian, and this complicates all of the way that he interacts with Julian.
O'Brien develops a crush on Julian?
100%, yeah.
I feel like it's the other way around.
No, Garrick, Julian has a crush on Garrick, and Garrick is like, yeah, I know. You just don't know it.
Yeah.
And then O'Brien is going the other way towards Julian, so... There's a layer to Deep Space Nine that you have to really...
All right, we'll watch for that. Can we talk about the fact that they sent O'Brien alone for a first contact? What if the Tosk guy was a murderous jerk? I know.
Yeah. How about the fact that they're like, holy shit, this is the first contact from the Gamma Quadrant, and then Lieutenant Belly Monster is like, how about we just ignore first contact protocols? And Ben is like,
sounds like a good idea to me.
Absolutely. What the fuck?
Oh my god, yeah, that made no sense. But again, I like it because it's like because it feels there's a lot of instinctual storytelling in this episode where things don't make sense but feel right. Like it feels like that's how these people would act.
Yeah.
And a lot of it is portrayed through subtext and body language, especially between Tosk and Miles. Both of those performances are fantastic in this episode.
This is one where I could see the person portraying Tosk made choices that worked really well but feel risky because he plays himself as being like very stiff and very blocky in movement, but he's so fucking reptilian. Consistent with it, and when it's not his turn to do his yabbery meat mouth, the way he like looks around at stuff, it's great.
Oh yeah, he's always like moving like a lizard sometimes.
Well, and he's moving like someone who's being hunted.
Right. And his like. His like, I'm ready to attack. His attack stance is hilarious, but he kind of pulls it off. There's something so sincere about his delivery, and there's something so warm about his presence.
Yeah,
it's that performance really blows me away
because he does.
It makes the episode work.
They make him. It's clear that he's powerful in his own physicality. That can be dangerous, but he's not a threat to any of the people around him. You know, even his pleads when he's like, "Yeah, I was stealing weapons, but I was, I didn't hurt anything. I didn't do anything."
Yeah, he also he has this like very strong moral core, but his morals are so like distorted by the culture that he comes from.
Yeah, he's got like a single focus.
Yeah, which is really interesting. Like he's a very like severe character in what he believes, and totally a character that I'd love to just like watch in his own show. Go off in the hunt for 7 years. Yeah,
this is one where the unnamed aggressor species and the Tosk itself has a wonderful premise and a lot worth exploring further. That also is sufficiently explored in the episode.
Yeah, but so Tosk has this vow of silence or whatever. He's not allowed to ask for help. He's not allowed to tell other people what he's doing.
Yeah.
During the hunt, so he can't tell O'Brien what's happening with the hunt.
Yeah, it sounds like he can't.
And that he's being hunted by these other people.
First rule of the hunt:
can't
talk about
the hunt. Which I think
Second
is
rule of the hunt: I am Tosk. Sorry, I keep interrupting you when I get high.
No, it's good. I think it's correct. What were we talking about? seriously though, what were we talking about?
We're talking about Tosk, and you were saying...
Oh, his vow of silence, right. Okay. Which I thought was like, writing-wise, was a really clever device, because it kept that sense of mystery. The podcast that I just put out today, I was talking to Wes about Terminator, and how like there's this big info dump halfway through Terminator where you don't know what's happening with John Connor, and like you don't even know who he is, and like why is Sarah Connor being chased, and like you don't know anything, and then halfway through John Connor sits her down and tells her everything and then hits on her. So you have this big info dump in the middle, and I actually love that kind of thing, and I think this episode did a really elegant job of it, of not telling you what Tosk was about, forcing Tosk to not be able to tell you, but then naturally finding a way for that information to come later, because when the hunters arrive, they're like, oh yeah, he broke his vow of silence and told you about the hunt, and like they accidentally kind of reveal that the hunt is happening. It's a show don't tell. That's what, and they do it well. Yeah, it's really good.
I love the comparison. This is why I like doing these side by side.
Totally.
The last episode, like I said, I think keeps becoming worse with rewatches. Like all of the flaws become more and more evidence. Its fragile, crystalline structure is, you see how the delicacy. This one, with repeated rewatch, it still is solid. It holds up. The motivations keep making sense for the most part. There's some, you know, broad Star Trek stuff, but one of the key differences is that all of these things are based around the interactions with people in their own motivations, not a technology that they're making up, you know, so
which makes it so much more effective.
Yeah,
it makes me feel it more. Yeah, totally. Yeah, I read that a lot of the production staff felt like this was the best episode of the first season. Yeah, I don't know if they include the pilot in that or not, but
well, like I said, apart from the pilot, because the pilot does set it up, but this is the one that first delivers on the promise that the pilot sets up.
Yeah, this one is like, what is Deep Space Nine? Like, why is Deep Space Nine?
You could skip a bunch of
this
Space Nine.
This episode answers that. It says like, Deep Space Nine is a show where we are on the frontier of space in the Star Trek world, and we're going to have to deal with things in a little bit of a different way because we're not traveling and people are coming to us.
Right.
And you can't like run away from your problems in this show. You can't just say, oh, prime directive, sorry, beam everyone out, and then fly away. You can't do that. You have to make different choices.
You can't apply a tractor beam to your own problems every day, Miles. Sometimes you have to dig down in there deep and do the work.
You can't stop your own problems from exploding with a well-placed tractor beam. Amanda says, as someone who's never been high, I enjoy the dynamic an awful lot.
We just get goofy and silly.
I've got the munchies part of it down, though, eating Breyer's chocolate and peanut butter ice cream. Oh my god, that sounds so weird. When we were on break, I was eating chips and chickpeas, and it was fucking awesome. Nice. I've been reading Robin Hobb fantasy stuff recently, one of my favorite authors ever, and this episode is so like a medieval fantasy, where there's this like mythic hunt that's going on, and you have this creature who is just trained just to be hunted, this sentient person who's been brought up to feel like being part of the hunt is like a great honor, so
I feel like it's implied they like genetically engineered.
I think so too. Yeah. There's actually background information that someone they talk about this later, that the Tosk and the Jem'Hadar are actually very similar.
Yeah, I was thinking that the whole time of like, oh, this seems like, you know, like the beta version of the Jem'Hadar.
Yeah, and someone behind the scenes said that the Jem'Hadar and the Tosk were genetically engineered by the same species.
Oh, interesting.
Which implies that the Changelings created the Tosk.
Or the Vorta. Did the Vorta make the Jem'Hadar? Or did the Changelings make them?
Oh, was it the Vorta or the Jem'Hadar? But the Vorta worship the Changelings as gods, but but were they genetically engineered by the Changelings or no?
All right, now we're theorizing of
we don't need to go there.
We'll come back to it, but let's try to remember Tosk in relation with Jem'Hadar stuff when it comes up.
For sure.
Because it's absolutely, it's like a childlike warrior, you know.
Yeah, there's something so interesting about genetically engineering a species for a purpose and then building in a religious type structure around it to make that person believe that what they're doing is good, even though they're being taken advantage of. Like they're being bred to being taken advantage of, but are being told that it's okay.
It's okay because he likes it. You made him like it.
Yeah, I feel like that's so common in our society of like people, you know, let's use the example of like religion and saying how like people are brought up to, you know, think that like sex is bad. Like this is a good example, I think, that like you can't have sex until you get married because that's bad. It's a sin.
Okay.
But that's just something that like some people believe that prevents them from doing something that's pretty awesome. That I think is very enjoyable and well worth doing. And I honestly think it's actually
pro-sex.
Unhealthy to not have sex with someone that you're about to marry. I think that you need to like test out your sexual chemistry because you never know what's going to happen. And I also think that it's important to have a few sexual partners before you settle on the final one that you're going to have, because...
This is turning into Ono talking about relationships.
Yeah, I know.
We're like, you're getting weirdly specific.
I've been in some and he hasn't. But I feel like that's an unhealthy thing that's perpetuated by religion that maybe makes people less happy than they would be otherwise.
Oh.
That's my theory.
I see what you're saying. You're saying that Tosk didn't get a chance to get none before he gets killed in the hunt, and what they need to do is have some version of like sex Tosks. So the prey Tosks,
absolutely not what I'm saying.
And the sex Tosks can go at it.
What I'm saying is that Tosk does not have his own best interests in mind because of a religious system that's been put on him from birth.
Well, the one distinction I would make there, and I don't know what it means, but is that he was genetically. It seems like he was genetically engineered to have this belief versus indoctrinated, which is what I think
it's both. I think that he's had both done. Yeah, but indoctrinated is the perfect word. I think that he is not only genetically bred to be subservient to these hunters. Right. I think he's also trained from childhood, indoctrinated from childhood, brainwashed to believe that being Tosk is the only thing that he can ever be, is the only thing that he can ever live for. Right. He won't even consider something outside of it. Like he would never consider sitting down and having a drink with someone, which we see. It was like, you people have too much free time. He would never do that of his own volition because he's been bred and indoctrinated not to care for himself at all, or value himself as a sentient person. And
to me, that's one of the things that would be interesting to explore in something like this is, and I think they sort of try to do it with the Jem'Hadar, which is, could you raise a Tosk to not feel this way? You know, where you get rid of the indoctrination, is it still the genetic breeding?
I mean, it's Iborg all over again, you know, and Iborg is one of the best episodes of TNG where, you know, Geordi becomes friends with a Borg who's never had his own consciousness before. He's always been a part of a collective. And then he learns to say I instead of we, and, you know, becomes a person, and then wants to make choices for himself for the first time. And I would love... They don't even come close to that with Tosk, but they could have done a sequel to this episode where Tosk comes back and is, you know, like... Maybe his relationship with O'Brien has festered and he suddenly wants to have a life of his own, and, like, maybe had this epiphany that he could have a life of his own and could have free will.
There's a lot of interesting things you could do with a sequel to this story, for
Absolutely.
Sure. I do think, though, they do address it eventually.
Yeah, 7 of 9 for Voyager 2.
There's a Jem'Hadar story in the future DS9 where they have a baby that they raise.
Right. Yeah, that's kind of like when they...
I'm sorry.
Oh, no, they find a baby and they don't know he's a Jem'Hadar until he gets older, right? Or something like that. I don't remember what happened. I loved that episode, but I don't remember what happened.
Oh yeah, Amanda's talking about the structure. How in TNG they would have they would just show up at this planet where they were doing this,
and
then find it. Where now they just run into it,
Totally.
This is
now it comes to them.
You can still tell these kinds of stories whether the ship is parked at the space mall or whether you're moving down to planets.
Totally. But I thought this episode raised so many interesting questions because Tosk doesn't care that he likes being Tosk. Like, he doesn't want to be freed. This would be something that we would consider like an oppression that he needs to be freed from.
Well, they do. They make it explicit because they're like, we've got to find a way to save him. Well, we can't because of the Prime Directive. And they do. They cook up a plan to save him from this, where he can escape from being his job as being hunted.
But Tosk doesn't want that. Like, Tosk wants to be hunted. And that's why the solution is so elegant, which is, like, O'Brien realizing instinctually that the only thing that's going to work here is for the hunt to go back on.
Right.
Which is a great way to wrap this up.
Yeah, because
good.
Towards the end, with the dilemmas they find is that Tosk is either going to wind up living the rest of his life on this planet, you know, as an object of shame, or, you know, he's going to get hunted and, by all accounts, killed in some period of time, you know?
Yeah, totally. He's either put in a cage on his planet or the hunt can continue. And it seems like for Tosk, like, the thing he wants most in life is to be hunted and have it continue. Right. Like, to never be caught. And just,
they
like...
made him that way.
Or to, like, die gloriously at the end of the hunt.
Right.
And it's so interesting that
it's like a Klingon that doesn't have any other choices.
Like, what do you say to someone like that? When we believe that the right thing is that they not be hunted because that's like a form of slavery and is disgusting, but according to that person, it's what they want. Like, what do you do? What do you say to them in that situation? Or do you just respect their choices, or do you try to convince them otherwise? I don't know.
No, well, they do. It's what O'Brien does. O'Brien says, "Say the word asylum out loud to me, and then you can come away from this."
He literally runs there. He literally runs there. He's out of breath when he gets there. He's like, "Buddy, I got good news. Just say the word asylum. I got a plan." It's adorable.
And the whole idea that he thinks that Quark told him that, even though he thought of the plan himself. You know, Quark wasn't even getting to that point.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. It's really, I think it's really compelling storytelling. And at the core of all of it is this, like, beautiful bromance that is so cute. Like, O'Brien is just tittering with excitement to hang out with Tosk. You know, we see a side of him we haven't seen before.
Right.
And, oh, you know what I was going to say?
The side of O'Brien that looks for any excuse to not go home.
Sidetracked. But I was going to say that I've been reading this, like, medieval fantasy stuff recently.
Right.
And that it's, like, there's all these, like, codes of honor in these societies where there is, you know, like, main characters who are killing people with swords, but they all have this, like, sense of nobility and honor, and, like, one of them is a prince and he has to, like, act a certain way, and you're kind of born into roles in these medieval worlds where you have to act a certain way.
Right.
And I love that they kind of do that. They play with that in this episode, with the hunt itself being kind of a medieval thing.
Right.
But also with, like, the way that O'Brien interacts with Tosk, it reminds me so much of a medieval fantasy thing, because he just, like, takes this guy, like, for what he is, and kind of trusts him and believes him because they share a similar sense of nobility and honor, maybe.
Yeah,
or they get that sense of each other, and they just kind of run from there. And something about it just, like, really works for me. I really, really dig it.
Yeah, I like the sweetness that it showed on O'Brien's part, you know?
Yeah.
That he was right away bonding with this other creature.
Yeah. And then, I mean, when the hunters arrive in the middle and they show up in those crazy outfits...
That's who is in the...
Yeah, that's who's in the bottom corner here. It's just such a left turn, you know? Like... Yeah. Oh, you got it close. You got it. Good job. Yeah, to see the chat, we're looking at the actual YouTube live stream, which means that we're seeing it, like, 3 seconds late, which is a little annoying. Yeah, so when they actually show up, like, their outfits are so ridiculous, and this firefight breaks out, and... like, you know, Tosk is in jail and they try to go capture him. It's really good. Like, it's just all well done. The action beats are good. It makes sense. Like, people's motivations are clear. You know, who's good, who's bad is clear. And then when they stop fighting, it kind of makes sense also, because, like, Tosk is the thing that they're looking for.
This is one where I feel like they do take care of, they head off at the pass a lot of the common complaints that people have about Star Trek stuff. The whole thing that is comical, but I appreciate his existence. The, like, let's wave away the Prime Directive is brilliant, because then there's nothing for the rest of the episode where you're like, well, you know, why are they doing this, or why is O'Brien allowed to do that? Doesn't matter. They already told you we're not doing the first contact protocols, not the Prime.
Oh yeah, gotcha.
So they make all of that, like, is that how we treat aliens when we first meet them? Doesn't matter. They already told O'Brien he could do whatever he wanted.
Yeah, totally. And you know what I love is that Tosk, like, before he's captured, he talks to the computer and he asks it, like, for a schematic.
Yeah.
And it says, yeah, we can show you these sections. And he says, okay, where are the weapons? Right. And I was like, sure, I was going to say restriction, like, access restricted or something. It's like, weapons are stored on the fucking promenade or whatever it was.
We'll tell you where the weapons are, and we'll tell you what security level you need to get at.
Yeah, which is ridiculous. Like, that was absolutely... for a station that, you know... people from all over the galaxy can come and dock. That was ridiculous. They just told him exactly where to look for the weapons.
I feel like there's a lesson there about Starfleet itself, where that's their arrogance. Is they're like, yeah, information's good. Here's where all the weapons are. Here's how you could, like, blow up the station if you wanted to.
Yeah,
but,
that is their arrogance.
Please don't.
Yeah, totally. They're very open with information, which I respect, but I feel like that is foolish.
I mean, they make Deep Space Nine seem like a fragile egg. In the last episode, when Jaheel was going to take off in his ship, the whole reason they weren't like, well, fuck you, is because it would tear away the docking ring. They're like, it's going to ruin all this stuff.
Right.
Like, that's how delicate you're... Okay.
Although, I mean, I don't know. I bought that.
It seems like it would be super easy to just, if the Cardassians wanted, they would just warp in a ship and just fly it into the center of Deep Space Nine, and it would be all done.
Yeah, like if his ship is docked and about to explode, and it says it would take out like half the habitat ring, I buy it.
Yeah.
That makes sense to me. So yeah, once the hunters arrive, then we meet the hunter, the lead hunter dude, who also turned in like a really good performance.
He's good, and I've seen him in other stuff, right? He's
both of these guys have been on Star Trek multiple times.
Okay.
Yeah, I looked him up. I don't know what else they've been in, but yeah, they both have familiar faces.
Yeah,
for sure. Yeah, but so he shows up, and then you kind of get the information about what's happening with the hunt.
These are ours. We're hunting him. Stay out of our way.
Yeah, and you learn that like being Tosk means that you are bred to be the hunted, and there's probably like multiple Tosk being bred all the time.
Yep.
And yeah, I mean that whole thing sounds really interesting, and you got this like weird futuristic medieval society.
You don't have the same kind of thing on your planet, perhaps in the past, Commander. This seems like the kind of thing that everyone does.
Yeah, like talking about blood sports a little bit, which is an interesting topic as something that happened on our own planet that we now. I mean, I actually, when I was in Spain on that Europe trip I was telling you about, I saw a bullfight, which is a blood sport, you know?
Right.
Which was really interesting. I mean, it was kind of...
But it's also one where if you participate in it, there's a chance you're going to get gored. It's
right, but
it's
the bull is going to die, you know?
Yes, the bull always loses.
The bull always dies, but the person could get very hurt, and that's I mean, that is wildly unfair for the bull. And I don't think that this is necessarily like, I don't think that killing a creature for the entertainment of others can ever really be morally justified. But it is still a blood sport that still, I don't know if it still happens now. This was like a decade ago or something.
I mean, I would say it could be done.
Yeah, but it used to be humans. I mean, it used to be humans, you know, in like the Roman arenas and everything. Like they used to like let lions attack people and shit, and like Gladiator the movie. I mean, it used to be fights to the death in pits, or like the 100. You know,
this is
if
why
you're an enemy of one crew, like if you are one crew or you are an enemy of one crew, you know. So yeah, talking about that a little bit about how like can you be a civilized society and have blood sports, which they kind of touch on for a second, just enough to say that Sisko says you're gross, and then they walk away from it.
But see, the other thing that they also do is they make these guys clearly like, we're going to come in, we're going to do whatever we want. So they show them as effectively not respecting the laws of the Federation at all.
Right.
You know, they just start shooting at Deep Space Nine, teleporting in, you know. It's clear that these people would also murder Federation citizens in their pursuit of the hunt. They're not just going to come up and destroy anything for no reason, but they're easily going to justify. So that makes it clear to the viewing audience, like, these are bad guys. So you don't question what else we do to them. Even if we judge their culture, it still is like, well, you came in here shooting a bunch of stuff and with your white beams.
Yeah, and it's such an interesting thing because, like, in the Star Trek world with the Prime Directive, they are supposed to stay out of this entirely. They're supposed to just not interfere with this hunt at all because it's a private matter of another race and it's not their place.
But answer a cry for help. That's what they're allowed.
Yeah, they can answer a cry for help. But they do have to turn over the Tosk to be put in a cage for the rest of his life.
Right.
So I love that O'Brien takes it into his own hands and just says, like, no, fuck that.
This is wrong.
This is wrong. I'm going to do what I think is right. Which, again, it feels very medieval.
He's allowing Tosk to choose his own death.
Right. And it seems like there's no good answer in this solution. So the lesser...
letting him choose his own death is the right answer.
I think so. I think it's the right answer. I think there's no good solution because Tosk is unable to admit his own value as a sentient human. Well, not human, but as a sentient Tosk.
We let Tosk choose his own death. We impose sanctions against the hunting species. They're not allowed to... They already said they're not going to continue the hunt in the Alpha Quadrant, but also, you know what, you assholes can't dock at our space mall and pick things up. So I hope you had fun the first time here.
Yeah. Yeah, so I mean, the best solution is just to give Tosk another day to be hunted. But the thing that's the most questionable about this whole situation that they don't go into at all is, like, when Tosk was being freed by O'Brien and he shot the weapons and stuff.
Right.
You know, when Tosk, like, shot those dudes and one of them fell off of the promenade onto the ground.
Yeah.
Were those guys killed?
You know, I don't know. Like, I figure at the end they're going to have to come through and mop up and be like, all right, these guys with the weird helmets are back on their ship.
I think it's an important distinction of whether or not they were killed, because the episode synopsis on Memory Alpha, hey, Jamae-san, what's up, dude? It said that they were killed, but I don't think that they were, because I have two reasonings for this. One, I think that Miles would then have been a party to murder of the first alien species that came through the wormhole.
Second alien species.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, it would also be superhuman. Yeah, we did our best with the first alien species that came through, but then we started straight up murdering number 2.
Yeah, and he would be kicked out of Starfleet in a second. Yeah. So I think that they must still be alive. And 2, because Tosk are hunted and it is an unfair system, I am almost positive that Tosk are trained not to kill. I think that the Tosk is the bull in this situation, where the Tosk will most certainly die, but the hunters are probably not going to get hurt.
That's interesting, yeah.
That's my theory.
Yeah,
so
I like it.
Yeah, but I wish the episode would say that, because I think it's an important distinction.
Yeah, I hadn't thought about that. But that does make a difference.
It does make a difference. Yeah. But yeah, what else? What else we got?
They get to block lasers with their wrists.
Oh yeah, that was pretty badass. Then, I like that a lot.
Just like everything, where it's they're really good at finding exactly where that phaser is going, or Starfleet is like, aim for the head, aim for the head, aim for the head. That's all they can do.
And they seem like decently, like, equipped and able-bodied soldiers.
They make these one of the things that makes me think in the future is like, why the fuck do we not see the Founders come through with, like, shut your shields off technology?
Yeah.
Because these guys just got, like, a little purple thing they shoot at you for a couple seconds, and boom, your shields are down. And shields are, like, the #1 most important part of space battle in Star Trek, because they show that once shields are down, you can transport things on and off. You can start, like, beaming bombs onto ships, beaming captains out into space, you know? You can fuck up a ship that doesn't have shields.
Beaming doctors into your virus-riddled runabout. Do anything you want.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, do you want to get into the rating?
Yeah.
I'm actually really curious. I haven't thought about this yet.
Oh, did anyone in chat have questions or topics about the episode?
While I make this...
While he's doing the rating?
While I make this straw poll...
Oh, while he's doing that, I'll talk about one of the things I wrote down was the Universal Translator working overtime in this episode.
Oh, yeah, we didn't talk about that.
It's Universal Translator, again, it's the replicators, it's the transporters, it's one of these things in Star Trek where you're just like, yeah, the Universal Translator can't help with this, like, virus language that is consistent, which was pointed out. So effectively, words are just now arbitrarily different words, which is exactly what the Universal Translator does, is untangling this. And it's not like, oh, we downloaded their language matrix or anything. It's just, these people show up, and then right away it's like, we're all talking together.
Yeah, that is internally inconsistent, even in this show.
Yeah.
Like, you will eventually see someone show up that we've never met before, I think from the Gamma Quadrant, and they'll start talking and we don't understand what they're saying, but then eventually the translator starts to work, and they, like, words are peppered in that make sense, and eventually we can hear them. So they kind of set up a logic for the translator later that is completely ignored in this episode, where as soon as Tosk shows up, you can understand him.
It just works. The Universal Translator across all Star Trek series just works the way it needs to work
for the episode.
In that episode. The transporters, the replicators, they kind of try to talk about it, but then still it's like, the economy, just let it be what it needs to be for this episode, right? You like Star Trek, don't you?
Yeah. And I think to a certain point that's actually the right way to go. Because,
I agree, yeah.
Yeah, especially with the economy, because, like, you don't need that information necessarily, and you can kind of fill it in with your headcanon if you have to, but it is still kind of, it, like, nicks at me sometimes.
To me,
like, what is it?
What's up, Almighty Hawk? And pointing it out is part of the game, and making fun of it is, in a way, making fun of people that complain about any violations of canon or consistency, because
it's just fun.
It's baked into Star Trek.
It's just fun.
But if that's your thing, like, well, I can't watch this show because the Universal Translator isn't consistent. You know.
Yeah.
Well, I can't watch this show because the Klingons aren't consistent.
Then you don't. Then you don't deserve it.
You don't deserve it. That's why Discovery's not special. No. I'm slowly chipping away.
You're not chipping away. You're just you are laying bricks onto, like, the foundation of my anger. Okay, there's the straw poll to vote on the rating. So what do we think? Doug, what do you think? Rating this episode?
Oh, this episode, boy. I give it an 8.
Wow.
Yeah, I would normally give it higher, but I really... I clearly don't like the implication of the first scene, and I wish that it had been explored more in this episode. It needed to be a denouement at the end. This had to be part of the epilogue. It should have been the way that they bookended it, to watch Quark get some form of punishment or something to make it clear, like, yeah, we get that he's being, like, criminally bad to the Dabo girls.
Right.
We're not going to even address, like, oh, well, is their culture, is this okay for them to do in their culture? But they leave all of that for you to figure it on your own. But everything else in the episode that does explore the conflict of cultures, I did enjoy. And because, again, that it was emotionally driven and philosophically driven with the interactions between people, all of that stuff, I think, continues to hold up with repeated viewings, unlike a show where it's completely driven on made-up pseudo-Babel science.
Yeah.
Boom!
Well put. 8. Yeah, I think that's super awesome. You got your homework done. Congrats, dude. Yeah, this was tricky for me because that Quark thing really bothered me, and also not knowing if Tosk killed those dudes at the end makes it not really make sense that it's just kind of shrugged off and Miles is like, okay. And also the fact that, like, Sisko was in his own way complicit with this because he told Odo to do his slow shuffle to the turbo lift.
Ooh, that actually was a very satisfying
epilogue. Oh, I love that. Yeah. Where sir, I thought that we'd be caught as soon as you found us.
After getting taken to the carpet by Sisko, where you're like, oh, Sisko's pissed at him.
Right.
Yeah.
Oh, no. Oh, okay, good.
No, yeah, we are lagging.
Yeah, we just had a weird.
Should I probably not be
lag.
streaming it also on my phone to myself?
Oh, it shouldn't matter.
I'm downloading a bunch of stuff while I'm here.
Using that Wi-Fi, baby.
Thanks for your Wi-Fi.
Yeah, I want to know. I want there to be, like, consequences for O'Brien. I think that's the only thing that disappoints me a little bit.
There are consequences.
Like,
him getting yelled at by Sisko are the consequences.
Sure, but it's a little thin.
No, I think it's fine because then, you know, he also is sort of like, he's given the rigmarole, which I think implies, like, if you do pull shit that's outside of regulations, I'm going to be mad about it, and you may cross the line that, you know, I don't want you to cross, and then I'm going to rein you back in.
Yeah.
I'm still the boss. Yes, you made the right call, you went off on your own, but I'm still the fucking boss around here.
It's that classic... a classic Star Trek trope of, like, the captain chewing someone out and then, like, stopping them and saying,
but also,
well done.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah, something about that was a little jarring for me. Just, like, I mean, especially if those dudes were killed from the Hunter species, then Miles not being kicked right out of Starfleet doesn't make sense.
You know, space stations are dangerous. It's also Bajoran law, technically. Federation is just administration. Bajorans are super used to just sweeping bodies up, pushing them under the carpet.
I think emotionally, for the emotional arc, if there had been higher, like a higher stake for Miles also, I think it would have been more emotionally satisfying, because it's such a sad ending. It's like a bittersweet ending where Tosk gets to go, he gets released, and, you know, O'Brien helps him escape and the hunt can continue, but then they can never see each other again.
Right.
And you get that wonderful moment where he says, you are Tosk now as well. Like, do you want to come with me? And he says, no, I can't because my wife and kid are here. You know, that was just so cool. I just really,
how many times
really liked all that so much.
When O'Brien is just like, I should have gone with Tosk.
Never.
I should have gone with Tosk.
Maybe only that one episode where he gets tortured for a million years.
Definitely should have gone with Tosk.
Yeah. But,
so what's your ranking?
Yeah, I'm thinking about that. Because I think the strongest point for me is the relationship between the two of them. And I think that is special enough to kind of override some of my misgivings about it.
Yeah.
And that there is such a good Star Trek story here. I'm feeling a 7.5.
Okay, that's solid.
7 bricks, 5 strips.
I'm curious how the voting comes. Amanda says that she disagrees with me on this one.
Oh, shit. Well, okay, we got to do math again.
Oh, yeah. I'll do the math.
I'm giving this a 7.5.
It's going to be a low. People did not like this one.
I really like this one a lot.
Can you go back to the results?
Yes. Okay, we got a 9, an 8, and a 5. You much preferred Babel. Oh, interesting.
7.3.
7.3. All right, let's just round to 7.5. So that's what I say.
It's only numbers. There's zero need to be accurate.
Yeah. Okay, so who's our favorite character in this episode?
Favorite character? Tosk. I mean...
Yeah.
That's so much of this episode is on that performance, because if Tosk was played, I don't want to say like too smart, but too much of a Ascension thing, then this episode gets really, you know, why are they just kind of being cool with this thing? And if he's played too animalistic, then, you know, it's got a real small window of a sweet spot that performance needs to hit, and I think that he hits it. So that's why I'm also voting for him as favorite actor. Okay, so best performance and favorite character, you're going Tosk. Yep. I just put the straw poll down for favorite character. The choices I put were Tosk, O'Brien, Sisko, and Odo. And who did you pick? Well, this is tricky for me because I really love Tosk in this one, but I think that this episode is the foundation of my love of Miles O'Brien. Like, him calling Tosk friend all the time is just so great, and like the warmth and the heart that he shows in this is so great, and you don't see it often from him because you just see him complaining about having to do his job and being grumpy and stuff and being emotionally stunted. But something about like seeing someone that he loves and just like instantly and just like has this bromance with is so great. So I'm gonna go. I really love Tosk, but I'm gonna for favorite character. I'm gonna go O'Brien. Okay. Cool. Okay, and then chat favorite character. O'Brien. All right. O'Brien gets it. Okay. So now let's talk best performance. Let me make that poll as well. Yeah. Best performance. I'm gonna vote Tosk again. You don't get to vote. You're voting already. Well, I guess you can vote, and then I'll vote too. No, you can't vote because it's chat only. Best performance? Yeah. Oh, I thought we participated in best performance. Well, we pick our own, and then chat gets to pick. And if we vote, oh, I guess I mean on my pick, not my vote. If we vote, we destroy the world. Tosk. You know, I can log in here and vote. Don't do it. I will end this show right now. Okay, who else do we want for best performance? We got. Oh, I have to nominate Odo for his like slow walking. Odo's slow walking is so close to winning this for me because I laughed so hard, and then I laughed so hard again because he like stopped and then kept going. He did like 10 different things in that one walk to the turbo lift that is fucking brilliant. Okay, don't make me pull this show over. Totally. Who else? Tosk, O'Brien, and Odo. I feel like that's pretty solid. Yeah, the other guy. I mean, there's the other one that I like was the Hunter. Yeah, the Hunter, because that's another one that has to be done. He gets some hokey lines, but you know. And he has to be like aristocratic. And he conveys so much about his society. He's the fox hunter on the horse. You know? So Doug, you say Tosk for best performance. He even pulls up. He might as well have like a polo stick. I actually agree that Tosk is the best performance. Okay. Poll's not there. Wait, what does this button do? No, it's there. It's there. Yeah, Odo's performance in this is great, but for me, Tosk like killed it. Like, he did. Oh yeah, Scott McDonald. Nice. Okay, great. Because he comes back as other characters, so he might win this again. He played Xindi Reptilian in Enterprise. In Enterprise. And you get to see his face in, I think, the first episode of Voyager. He's a character. Scott McDonald is Tosk. He like threaded the needle of this like incredibly difficult thing. That's a great just seeing all those are the characters. We can show the camera. Wait, let's see if that works. There we go. I got you on the live feed. There's all of Scott McDonald's characters. Nice. That's how we can play the episode. I'll just put it on my phone. Oh, I'm gonna do it! I'm gonna do it! Whoa, I'm doing it. Hold on. I just want to show Netflix. I want to show Odo's walk so bad. I want to like celebrate Odo's walk. Can you switch to the chat so I can see what the students? Okay, we gotta check the poll. Oh yeah. Best performance results. Tosk gets it. Yeah. 100% of the votes. Cool. Oh, this is interesting. This is the first episode where me, you, and chat were all in agreement on anything. On performance. We all agreed on Garrick. Yeah. Interesting. Not core characters, but someone else. You know. Well, I guess Garrick kind of is a core character, but not the people, the Starfleet staff.
Where's my continue watching? What the hell? Oh, there it is. It's on top where it's supposed
Amazon
to be.
Amazon or Netflix?
This is not the right account.
I didn't log into your phone.
Wait, well, no, I canceled my Netflix and I share with Andy now.
Oh, okay.
No, wait. No, this is my account. That was... I was on the wrong profile. That was someone that used to use my account and no longer does. Okay, I'm very confused about how Netflix works.
Amanda wrote, well, there was only Tosk, and I don't know if she's making a joke about that's why everyone voted for Tosk, or if there was something wrong with the poll. Amanda's very generous with her Netflix account, so if anyone is looking for a hookup with Netflix...
I fucking found it.
The Walk?
Yeah. I fucking found it! Okay, hold on. Hold on, here we go, you guys. This is fucking happening right now. I hope that I don't get any incriminating notifications while I'm holding this up. Oh, there's no hurry. Oh. Well, then I'll walk slowly. Wait, he's my commander, and he's breaking rules. Huh, I misjudged this man, I think. Well, I'm gonna go even slower. As slow as I possibly can. I'm gonna saunter this way. Okay, I'm done. It's so good. It's like miraculously good.
All right, let's do our best Odo head. Commander, there's no hurry.
I can't do it.
Okay, pitch me.
Okay. Constable, there's no hurry. I think you did it better than me. Yeah, so we both like that episode better, yeah. It sounds like.
Yeah.
Nice.
Well, less than chat. Chat did not like it. I think Amanda's vote really dragged it down.
Yeah, I think Amanda is not a fan of that episode. Okay, hey guys, so what's next? Let's take a look.
Uh-oh.
Oh my god, so next. Hey, what's up, Trayvon? Next we have, next time we're gonna have 2 more episodes. Q-less and Dax. We get the episode where Q comes to Deep Space Nine.
Oh, that reminds me. Mushroom ratings.
Mushroom ratings, space mushrooms. So thanks, Amanda. I did a nice impersonation of Cisco.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. I appreciate that. Babel is 8 mushrooms because of the virus, and virus. Then how the Universal Translator doesn't come into play, even though it totally should.
And the carts, yeah, Odo carts.
Yeah, the glass. So 8 mushrooms, and this one 5. Solid 5. Universal Translator comes into play, but other than that, I mean, you know, it's just regular Star Trek. Again, 5 is the all of Star Trek is basically space magic. So this is just we're at baseline space magic. Yeah,
the Bajoran biological weapon planted by terrorists to make people speak funny is like
by injecting a virus.
For me, is like a 9.9. Yeah, it's so ridiculous. 9.9 space mushrooms, but like the Tosk episode, I think works so well for me because it's so grounded, and it's like for me, it's like a 3. It's
I was gonna say I should probably rate it on a scale and make it a 3.
Yeah,
but man, it's that First Contact Universal Translator really. That bumped it back up to a 5. If this had happened later in the show, and it wasn't even First Contact, if it was just that was the only piece that was different, definitely I would give it a 3.
Yeah, but I really liked both of the episodes of this week, and it was so fun to watch. I watched them last night, and I was like, man, I'm so glad that I have like a reason to watch this. You know, like I not only get to watch this, but I get to pay as close of attention as possible, and then talk about it after. You're playing Super Smash Flash. I don't even know what that is. Doug, do you want to do something a little weird right now?
Yes.
There is a Super Nintendo Deep Space Nine game.
Okay.
Have you ever seen it before?
No.
I own this. I've lost it, but I found the ROM, which is legal because I own the game, from what I've heard.
ROM, he's an idiot.
Oh my god, that reminds me of something we forgot to talk about. Is that like Odo's reasoning for knowing Quark was lying is that Rom's an idiot and he doesn't know how to fix replicators.
Right.
But we learn later that like Rom is kind of a brilliant mechanical genius.
Yeah, Rom is all over that. This also, I feel like my Rom takes a head injury theory. This this must take place after the off-screen head injury.
Yeah, he has a head injury that fixes his brain. He like uninjures his head. Okay, so I feel like doing this, so I'm gonna try it.
One last thing.
Yeah.
The meme for the second episode.
Oh yes, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay. Boom. Friends, I don't get it. How can you possibly spend all day shit posting about Star Trek?
Me. I live the greatest adventure one could ever desire.
Which sums up this episode so perfectly.
Yeah.
Yeah, so again, the Instagram account, there's a link in the description. Doug makes these memes and they're awesome. Okay, so I have to switch my setup here, but I haven't looked at the Deep Space Nine Super Nintendo game in like 15 years. But I remember playing it, and it had awesome graphics, awesome music, and like horrendous gameplay that was almost unplayable.
Okay.
So I think I never got past like the first level, but I wanted to like take a look.
Try it out?
Yeah.
So we're going to game.
So let's take a peek. Okay, I turn this on. I gotta switch this input for this input. Please work.
This itself is very much like a Star Trek.
I know.
Oh, Captain, we need to broadcast the video game to the viewers. Hang on. What if you try crossing the cable? The device isn't available.
Did you check the ODN conduits? Okay. Come on, baby. Come on, baby.
Oh, yeah, they did. O'Brien told somebody to... It was like a classic technobabble. Rewrote power couplings. We had that in Babel. I don't remember if they'd done one earlier in DS9, but that one stood out.
Please. Sometimes I can't get this thing to turn on.
Beep.
Work.
Are people seeing that pyramid, or did I just touch the middle of the screen for no reason?
Oh, they're seeing it.
Okay.
They're seeing what we're seeing.
Are they feeling what I'm laying down?
Come on. You can do it. I know, don't give me this black screen. Did I plug in the right thing? Yeah. This is right. This is plugged in. This is plugged in. Because I should be getting something. This is plugged in. Every once in a while this happens where it just won't turn on.
So what do you do?
I keep fiddling with it until it works. Let me try this. Switching source.
Did you try opening up this cube and then turning this one knob?
Come on. Okay, I'm gonna switch back.
It's this thing. It's that gray thing.
Yeah. Weird.
Can that be turned off and on?
Yeah. Let's try that. Because I'm not even getting signal to the TV, which is a step beyond what I normally have. Not working. Yeah, it's not sending signal. This is it. This is right. This is right. Oh, I want this to work.
Not in use by another application?
Yeah, that's just because I unplugged it for a second. Come on. Well, it should be showing up on the TV, even if it's not showing up on the stream.
Right, like if you were just going to play this game without streaming it.
Right. But it's still running through the game capture device, so it still could be...
Can you...
issue with that.
Could you bypass a thing just to see... Like, oh, don't go to the capture device, just go directly to your computer, just to see, you know, if there's... where the break is happening.
Yeah. Unfortunately, there's no easy way to do that.
Okay.
Well, maybe next time.
Can you try isolating the source of the power surge?
I'll bet you if I turned off, as soon as I turn off the stream, it'll work. Hey, Andy, what's up? Have you tried turning it on and back off again? Hey, Andy, stop by to say hi. What's up, Andy?
Hi, Andy. Sorry, we were troubleshooting.
Yeah. Sometimes if I switch scenes and come back, it helps. But yeah, I've never had this happen where it doesn't go to the TV at all.
And you're able to switch it normally in the middle of a stream, right? It's not like...
Yeah. We could try... I could try turning on the Switch and switching to that just to see if the game capture device is working at all.
Mm-hmm. Then we're just going to have to play Zelda.
We could play something on the Switch instead if it works. Is this the right one?
It's already up there.
Oh. Wait, what? Oh, it's just not going to the TV. Yeah, that makes sense. Which... No, wrong one. Oh, wait a second. Wait a second.
You figured it out?
I think I figured it out. I think I'm going in the wrong side of the device.
He's rerouting the power couplings.
Rerouting the power couplings.
Oh.
I reversed the polarity.
No.
Okay, wait. I think now I'm...
But you're closer.
No, this is the right one. This is the right one. No signal detected. In. Out. Okay, reset this. This whole stream has just become me standing in front of this thing. Come on, baby. Oh! 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 I've done it!
So now can they hear the sound?
I'm gonna check. Okay.
I love the tagging art.
Oh my god. Oh yeah! Yes! Woo! Oh my god.
You know, they do really capture the majesty of the opening theme for Deep Space Nine.
Crossroads of Time. This is so cool! This music is so cool! Okay. This is loud. How's that? Wow, this is a loud game. Okay.
That was the way the 90s were, man. Everything was loud.
Dude, I'm so excited right now. Okay, we're ready. Let's do it. How's that sound? Is that good for you guys? Can you hear us? Oh wait, I gotta move the webcam because now it's like right in front of my new webcam setup. A little dim.
Oh, as far as like blocking the screen?
Yeah. Okay. Oh, I gotta fix this. Get over here, you jerk.
See, I would have just played with the blockage.
Yeah, that's wise. I probably should have.
I am wise.
Okay. Let's see.
Oh, I like the spray halo above me.
I cannot get this to work. You guys, I did not plan ahead here. That's good enough.
Yeah. Everyone, you have a lot of patience.
All right.
50 space crystals for everyone.
I can actually do that. Yeah.
Deep Space Nine, station log, starting.
Actually, let's just do
46871.6. Commander Benjamin Sisko reporting. Political turmoil on nearby Bajor has slowed our usual flow of visitors. If not for a Cardassian warship, the station would be very quiet. I don't do it with Sisko. Frickin' Sisko.
Commander Cisco. This is Odo. Please meet me in security. We should both do all the voices. On my way, Odo. Oh my god, this is me. Okay, let's just switch off every death.
Okay.
Wait, pointing up, he looks back, and dude, he's ripped.
Yeah.
Look at that chiseled butt.
Yeah, that is.
Oh!
Cisco leap. Oh!
It looks like he's dancing. Yeah, jazz. Oh, okay, so just holding right is run. But if you hold right and hold A, he walks. Which is really weird. That feels really weird. Hey, it's Alki. What's up, dude? Okay. Wait. Oh, okay, so jump is B. A doesn't do anything. And then you have to be stopped and then push Y to attack. Music is ridiculous. Oh my god, I just walked into this store.
I mentioned power crystals, and now there's all kinds of stuff in the chat that I do not understand.
I'm in ops. That's our in-chat currency.
How's our economy work? Given that we have replicators.
Can I go into this?
Stop trying to punch the Lieutenant Kelly monster.
Dude, you can just kind of walk around the station. This is so cool. Cardassian. What? What the fuck?
You already won a Golden Glove.
Jake!
Punching.
Is that Jake?
I don't know. Why don't you punch him and find out?
Is this Quarks? Can I go in here?
That's, I think, where you came from.
Kira!
Get off your phone! No one uses their phone at Ops.
O'Brien.
O'Brien, quit playing with your dick. Everyone can see you.
I remember playing this, and I don't think I ever realized that you could go onto Ops.
Real short game.
Wait, how do
The music makes it sound like there's someone to punch, like, right around the corner.
Can I go to my... Oh, this is... I see how this is all interconnected now. Okay, this way. Is this where I started?
I think so, yeah.
Well, where the fuck do I go?
Deep Space Nine, walking around the space mall. Here we are at Ops. Here we are at Ops.
Is this a different turbolift than I took last time?
Hello, Cardassian. That's gotta be Garrett. Oh, it looks like they're getting glasses.
His jumping is amazing.
He's pretty good at jumping.
Oh, I can go in here. Oh, to the promenade. Okay, great. Quark!
Dabo!
Dabo!
That's another great thing about Deep Space Nine is like,
oh my god.
Anytime a scene opens at Quarks, somebody wins at Dabo.
That's something I forgot to talk about. Is Dabo good or bad? Because like when Quark was playing by himself, he was like, Dabo.
Well, it's bad for Quark, because that seems like when he has to pay out, and that's why everyone's so excited.
But then he says he hasn't won a hand.
Well, because, yeah, I mean, he's now playing for no money against the house. And then Dabo still is like, Dabo,
Morn.
Or, you know, it could be
Punch Morn.
A side bet issue where it's like,
get down.
Someone has definitely invented. I know the one game they start to play later on, the one with like acquire, pass, buy. I forget the name of that game, but someone has made rules for that.
Dude, I'm like going in a circle. What am I supposed to be doing?
Running and punching, and punching.
Cannot find anywhere to go.
I can see why you didn't get very far in this game.
Yeah, because like literally don't know what to do or where to go and can't figure it out. Okay, I've tried.
Okay, if you wind up back where you start, that counts as dying now.
Okay. Oh. Because this must be Garrick's shop. Okay. I haven't been here yet. Door sealed. Go! Oh, creepy old Bajoran man! A Twilight.
Yeah.
Star Wars.
He's a Jabba.
Okay, I cannot go into these things. Yay. Okay, your turn.
That's not where you started. Or are you just giving up?
I feel like I'm hogging it.
Yeah, but you haven't died.
Okay, that's fair. But literally, it's impossible to have died so far.
Steve just nice. He was very safe.
That's why I feel guilty.
Ooh, people are gambling. Nice. Everyone doing okay on drinks over here? Anyone doing anything in the chat? Or a refill before you do your gambling?
Look how cool this looks up here. I love this fucking music, man. I'm on the promenade and it's very long.
The longanode.
What's the hand at the top right with the communicator?
That's your golden fist. You get it for doing 100 karate chops.
This is your empty hand. Oh, the triggers are your hands. I feel like I've been in all of these doors already. Is there more this way? It's just hard to tell like what you can and can't go through.
Right.
This is ops, right? Yeah. Okay. Which was this? This is Quarks.
Promenade.
This takes me back to ops also. Yeah.
It's also ops.
Okay.
You're building a map. That takes you upstairs.
I haven't gone upstairs and left, I think.
I don't think there's a way out. You can walk out into space if you leave
I did do this, didn't I? Maybe I didn't. Okay, you have to push down.
Deep Space Nine. This is your empty hand.
Take my hand.
Your empty hand.
Every time I do this, I get stuck for a while. And then what was this one? Is this different? No, this is Odo's. Wait. Oh, I think X is the talk button. And I think I just needed to talk to Odo. We've made progress. Okay, this is a good spot. I don't know if you can die, so... Reverse to the attacker. I'm trying to find out who did it.
But there were
no witnesses. Any leads on who attacked the technician?
No, that's what we just did.
Oh. Not yet. Still checking. So now what? Did he ask us to do something?
This is your empty hand. This is your empty hand. This is your empty hand. Your name is Q. Boom! Next time on Deep Space Nine.
It's
that's it.
Yeah, you got it. Whoa! How did you do that little side hop? What is this music? It is fantastic.
This is my action. A was the running.
Yeah, A like slows you down. So then what are we supposed to do next? I think maybe with X you can talk to anybody. The door sealed like takes forever to release you. It's really annoying.
Oh yeah, I see.
Oh, not yet. He's not. You can. Okay, you can talk to people.
Yes, I understand. Some Klingon.
Oh my God, that's totally a Klingon. That's like Lursa or Bator. Can you talk to her again?
Klingon hole. Dalhala. Yes, I understand. Some Klingons.
Okay, so she's got nothing else to say. Those are totally her boobs, and she's a Duras sister.
I guess I'm just doing the card for Cisco.
The prophets await you.
The prophets await you.
Okay, can we go in? Oh.
Another time, perhaps.
Dude, that's exactly what happened in the pilot.
Another time. No, I want to go in! I'm not busy!
Yeah.
I'm not busy!
His animations are... Oh, look, Dr. Bashir. Oh, I think we found the quest.
Fine. Someone just stunned her, but
she wasn't robbed.
Or
hurt. Wait, can we go in that? Is that the sick bay? Ugh.
They don't...
Let me in.
They don't do a good job of letting you know where you can go.
No, it's really hard to tell. We've already made it further than I've ever made it in this game. I never figured out how you can talk to people.
How may I serve you, Commander? Thanks, Garrick.
Thanks, Garrick.
Don't need any clothes.
Don't need any clothes.
Can't do that.
Well, when you need a new suit, remember plain, simple Garrick.
You're doing good, Garrick. Garrick, open your goddamn door.
Door sealed. That's my computer voice. Okay, we should go back to Ops, because now we can talk to... Ooh, talk to Jake, talk to Jake. Don't listen to me. So I think this is inside Quarks, and this is the promenade.
Jake, did you see where all the Cardassians went?
I guess they went back to their ship. Oh, we saw that Cardassian. That guy was at Quarks, wasn't he?
You mean, Garrick?
Wait, oh, maybe I'm thinking of Garrick. Wasn't there another guy? Amanda's first mod job, well done.
Lieutenant Belly Monster.
Sensors detect some anti-pro in lower pylon 3.
Yeah, how?
I'm gonna send Chief... I can't do her voice at all.
To check it out.
Oh, it's gonna be a shit show when we do O'Brien's voice.
He's busy with his security grid. I'll do it. I modified a tricorder to detect the emissions. Thanks. I'll try to find the source for it.
Tricorder? You got a tricorder? You got a tricorder in which hand? Right or left? I'm so excited. Oh, you're scanning shit with broken sprites. That must be an issue with the ROM. Whoa.
Scanning, scanning. This is what it looks like if you're Geordie LaForge.
Oh no, there might be an issue with the ROM.
You sure? Oh, you guys, don't scan, look!
The station's falling apart at the seams!
Can anyone see this? Can anyone see this? Lieutenant Belly Monster, help me! Do you not see? No!
The walls
Kira
are on fire!
Kira, I think the replicators are really broken.
Can you talk to her? Oh no!
Everything's... Yes, it's the thing. Even the juices. There
wow.
is.
This is the first. So this console is this is an HD Super Nintendo console, and I've with like a cartridge with a SD card in it, and I've heard that you can have incompatibilities, and that might be one. Where like specific things in games will break it, like when you use the sensor, it broke it.
Yeah.
I'm wondering if that's a thing.
Let me see if I can.
Oh, sweet, nice, it reset.
Let's see if it does. If it stays in here.
Yay!
Boom, boom. Okay.
Solving problems. What does O'Brien say?
Ba-da-ba-da.
Can you imagine if Cisco was just jumping around like that?
Sorry, Major. I often don't know my punch hand.
Yes, Commander. Nothing much happening. Even their Cardassian ship at lower pylon 3 is behaving.
I don't trust them.
Look at Brian's butt.
Hey, buddy.
Whoever made these sprites really likes a muscular butt.
Hey, buddy. I always loved you, Winston. Oh, great.
You immediately went to Scottish.
Can't do accents.
Something wrong with Brian?
The
security grid is malfunctioning. I can't do accents at all.
Bloody Cardassian equipment. Always breaking down.
Okay. So now we have to like use our tricorder to go scan something, right?
Right, we have to find where...
Fire photons. This music is so funny. I love it. Oh, this is Cisco's office. So what's... Right? So what's through that door? Is that a door? That's probably the bathroom.
Zip! He does a little jump after he zips up his pants. Zipping up my space pants on DS9. Zipping up my space pants on DS9. I love being a commander. I love being a commander.
I just posted on Discord that we're doing this, in case anyone...
I love being a commander.
Left out.
I love being a commander.
It's so amazing.
Being a commander.
Yeah, what is up with the X, Y, and S codes on top? It's like his location or something. Can you scan with your tricorder?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to do.
Oh, I think it's the top right trigger. Oh yeah, you got it. That's not breaking the game, nice.
Well, you can only scan in some places.
If you hold it down longer, does it scan more?
Yeah, that's when it broke last time.
Well, knowing we can reset, I think it'd be fine if we break it. Look how cool the little railings look. It's weird how those sprites still look broken, but it's not breaking the game.
Do not use your tricorder in ops.
What were we supposed to scan? I wasn't paying attention.
Upper pylon 3. Lower pylon. I don't even know how long you scan for.
Oh, it's starting to break. Look at the top left.
No! Must continue scans!
This one black. I think we crashed the game.
I'm not good at scan.
Oh! Oh! It's broken. Can you move?
I'm frozen in time.
You know, I have to figure out if I still have the cartridge for this. I haven't seen it in a while. I might have gotten rid of it at some point. Well.
So we will come back on its own. No,
I think that's it. I think usually when games crash, they are dead.
That it's a hard out.
Yeah. Well, that was fucking awesome,
that was
though.
fun.
That was so fun. I want to see if I can figure out how to make this work.
Yeah.
I might have to just buy another cartridge, but it'd be really fun to play like a level at the end of each stream.
Yeah.
I would love that.
Yeah, I like it. Especially when it's something like this where it's just... It's goofy because it doesn't work, but it does, like... That's what music.
Yeah. Well, there's still 9 people here. Let's go on a raid, you guys.
I'm gonna go pee.
Okay. Do you want to say bye before you go? Because I'm going to end this in just a second. Doug says bye.
Follow the show on Instagram.
Oh, Chadley's doing Terraria with his son. Let's check that out.
I can see.
I'm going to mute that because that'll be too much music. Alright, bye you guys. Thank you so much. Hashtag Mercury Raid. If we get a couple people to go over to Chadley's channel to say hi, that would be awesome. That's his name. Alright, guys, this was so much fun. I had such a blast. I love these streams. We're gonna do it next week instead of 2 weeks from now because I'm gonna be in New York two weeks from now. So we're doing this again next week. Next Friday, same time, same place. Love you guys. Thank you tons. Bye.